Hopefully nothing goes wrong.
Welcome to the Music Relish Show with your hosts, Mark, Lou, and Perry. We are a music discussion and appreciation podcast full of fun facts and random relish and all kinds of, well, I'll just say tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery.
Welcome. Welcome to episode, yes, it's 51. We're one above 50 of the Music Relish Show. I'm Mark, I'm with Lou, and I'm Perry, and we're going to have an hour of, or two, or three, of tomfoolery tonight.
Tomfoolery.
But, right off
That's
the
a
top, I
great
just
name.
want to say something. Right off the top, just want to say, it was Veterans Day this weekend. I'd just like to say happy Veterans Day to a good friend of ours, Scott McLean, who certainly deserves to say whatever is on his mind, even when it drives me crazy. And he coined the term, here we go again, from me. How you doing tonight, guys?
I'm
All right. How about you?
Oh, I'm horrible. Just feel horrible. I'm not
you
ready
really?
for this. Yeah. So unfortunately, you got me hosting, so I got to get my papers in order. I guess right off the bat, we had the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony last week. And, wanted to just talk about it. I'll just say right off the bat, I was bitching and moaning, but it turned out to be, for me, one of the better ones, maybe one of the best. I really agreed with all the inductees except one.
Oh, except for one, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see any videos? Perry mentioned that on the Rock and Roll site, the Fame site. I guess they can see the whole show. I saw some sort of clips
Well,
I
Mark
was
had said that
randomly
to me.
YouTubing. Okay.
So what they do on that is you can remember this next year. You can actually buy a ticket and stream it. It's like a pay-per-view. Otherwise, you wait for Disney to put it on Disney Plus.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lou was saying that might take a month.
Yeah.
I can wait.
Yeah.
I saw some cell phone videos. So it wasn't what I saw wasn't truly representative. It was just kind of interesting. I think the list of inductees was more interesting than some of the film clips I saw. Do we know who inducted Sheryl Crow? I didn't see who.
Yes. It was the actress
Herself.
Laura Dern.
It was Laura Dern.
Laura Dern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Very cool. Did you see Sheryl Crow, Peter Frampton, and Stevie? What song were they doing? Every day's a winding road or winding road.
No.
Yeah, it was okay. Frampton is playing sitting down. I'm saying he's got some neurological stuff. His touring days may be coming to an end, I think.
They are. He retired.
It was, I mean, that was okay. I mean, I don't know. You guys see any other clips?
Yeah, well, that's a good song. Every day that's a good pop song.
Good pop song.
I'll give her that. Yeah.
Sure.
I've only seen the clip with Jimmy Page. That's the only one I've seen so far. So I'm just myself. I'm waiting for the Disney.
Yeah.
When they upload it, and I'll watch it then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going by what I just happened to see. I wasn't expecting great sound. I thought it was surprising was Dave Matthews inducting Willie Nelson.
Yes.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Gave a good speech.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. And they showed some really cool old clips of Willie, like when he was young. I never knew Willie was young.
Yeah.
He
He was a
dark hair,
Nashville guy with the short hair and the suit.
Yeah, that's right. Just like a young Gordon Lightfoot too. A lot of that was the norm, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Sheryl Crow did a duet with him. She sang "Crazy." It was good. It was good.
Really?
I was interested.
I think Lucinda would have done a better job, but
yeah, I agree.
Lucinda Williams.
Oh, heck yeah.
I see
I
that
don't want to swear because
Dave Matthews did an acoustic "Funny How Time Slip Away," and Chris Stapleton came out and joined him for Whiskey River, which I like. Chris Stapleton. I would have loved to have heard that. So can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. Rage Against the Machine, Ice-T inducted that. It was a pretty cool induction speech. Tom Morello spoke at length. Pretty outspoken.
Ice-T inducted Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Did I just say Rage Against the Cafe or Rage Against the Machine?
That's a whole other band.
What did I
Watch
say?
out. I think you said Machine.
Okay.
Like Tom Morello's speech was, it was really good.
Mhm.
Really good.
Yeah. The other video I saw, actually, I saw too, was Missy Elliott's induction by Queen Latifah.
Wow, cool.
Two classics.
Rather, yeah. As far I'll be honest, as far as a lot of hip hop rap, it's not my genre. So when you or Scott talk about it, I kind of know. I understand her impact in the music, though, Missy Elliott. So apparently, that was a well earned, well deserved.
She's just different. She was so different, and she brought, like, for me, a metalhead to say, "Wow, she's doing something different," and I like it. You know,
Cool. Yeah. And Chaka Khan.
Chaka.
That was the highlight. Yeah. Now, when she was inducted, she was performing with this singer with this weird giant thing on her head. You could barely see her face. So that's a singer named Sia. I mean, I sound really out of touch here. I mean, I read about her. I'm like, interesting. She's won an Academy Award. I mean, a lot of things, but I didn't know who that was. So now I know.
I did see a still picture of that.
That's pretty. But then I said, well, there were a couple other people there. I'm like, what? Who is that under there? I was like, Lady Gaga. I didn't know. But so I mean, it was cool. I thought Elton John's speech inducting Bernie Taupin was very right on. Yep. And I think those were all the videos I saw, but we all know the list of people that were inducted, right?
Yeah. Well, I saw. Go ahead, Lou.
Well, there's just whoever got it this year. Sheryl Crow.
So I can run it down the categories. The performer category was Kate Bush, Sheryl Crow, Missy Elliott, George Michael, Willie Nelson, Rage Against the Machine, and the Spinners. Musical Influence Award was DJ Kool Herc and Link Ray. Musical Excellence Award was Chaka Khan, Al Cooper, and Bernie Taupin. And the Ahmet Ertegun Award went to Don Cornelius.
That's the award I would want. The Ahmet Ertegun Award.
Yeah. Well, I will say that I did see the Jimmy Page play Rumble, the Link Ray tribute. And
cool.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, like nobody, like, why is he playing on a double neck, guitar with? Maybe all the other ones are locked up in a vault, all those Les Pauls, or
And he was wonderfully sloppy on it when he had to do that. He did it a little off,
And I did see Bernie Taupin. He gave his acceptance speech, and he gave a little jab to Jan Werner, about I'm with capable people and intelligent people and whatever. But I did see Andrew Ridgeley with the George Michael, and they showed a retrospective of Wham and George Michael after they do a little video presentation, and it's like it just dawned on me, like, I hear the Bee Gees in George Michael too. You hear all these little influences that he had, the Motown, obviously. Yeah. But I even hear Bee Gees in there. Yeah, George Michael.
Cool. I was listening to some old Bee Gees this morning.
Cool.
Oh, and the Spinners. The Spinners were inducted.
Yeah.
Right?
That's also overdue.
Yeah, and it was it was One of a Kind, Love Affair. I mean, who doesn't remember that song, right?
Rubber Band Man?
Yeah. Oh, and they said something interesting, too. It's a shame the way you mess around with you, man. Remember that song?
Yeah.
The Spinners, Stevie Wonder wrote that and produced it.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Stevie Wonder wrote it with two other people.
Huh.
But produced It's a Shame. It sounds like a Stevie Wonder song.
I guess, yeah. I would never guess that. But he produced that track.
And he co-wrote it and produced it. Yeah.
Very cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Stevie. Everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, and they had another one. Wherever you call me, I'll be there. I'll be around. Like the Spinners, they had these great
That's
hits.
one of my favorite
Rock and
songs
Roll
of
Hall
all
of Fame.
time.
About damn time, right?
Yeah, 2023. So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has been around for, actually, this is the 40th year in 2023.
Wow.
So after all that time, it's good they finally got it. Hopefully there's some original members left that could accept it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully.
The spin is.
Yeah.
And The whole what is that called? The
The
achievement award.
Spinners.
The Spinners.
Yeah. What is it? The Ahmed Erdogan Award?
No, that was the one that Don Cornelius got. But
Yeah.
Chaka
Musical
Khan, Al
excellence.
Cooper, and Bernie. Which one was that?
Bernie Taupin, Al Cooper, Chaka Khan. Musical Excellence Award.
Musical Excellence. Okay.
Musical excellence. Interesting category, huh? You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
And Al Cooper is in, and that is well deserved.
Yes.
That's something,
Yeah.
hopefully, through this show and maybe other shows. I mean, there's a million podcasts, so people will wonder who Al Cooper is, and then find out you liked Freebird.
And like you had stated one time, most people think of Alice Cooper when they hear that, right?
Yeah, I did. Well, isn't that wait? That's not the same guy. Super Cooper.
Yep.
So now, do we know much about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
We know enough, but I think you got some
we know,
stuff
like
for
when
us.
it was started back in the 80s or something, right?
Yeah, it was started in '83. You know who it was started by? I think you mentioned it last week, Perry.
A couple of weeks ago, yeah. Ahmed Erdogan and Jan Werner.
Well, yeah, it was Ahmed Erdogan, and he started the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation. That was Jan Venner, Rolling Stone publisher, the record executive Seymour Stein, Bob Krasnow, and Noreen Woods, and two attorneys, Alan Grubman and Susan Evans. They didn't start inducting until '86. Other cities, they bid for the chance to have it, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at their city. So I forgot. I think Cleveland pledged like $65 million or something.
Oh, so there was an incentive, like building a baseball stadium or something, right? Yeah.
And Cleveland's kind of cool because Alan Freed was there. They say Alan Freed might have coined the term rock and roll. I think that's
cool.
Probably
why not,
loose.
right? Yeah.
The first rock and roll, I think, big show, whatever, was the Moondog Coronation Ball. It happened in Cleveland, so it's right on the shores of Lake Erie.
Yeah.
But also, they said I find it cool. There's a radio station, WMMS, that kind of helped break a lot of new artists. In the Midwest. Bowie started his first tour in Cleveland, but they helped get promoted Bowie, Bruce Springsteen, Roxy Music, and Rush. So I guess when these bands made the rounds, when they probably went on WMMS or they appreciated those stations for help promoting their music.
So WMMS is the station in Cleveland.
Yes.
Cool.
The Mistake on the Lake.
I've heard of it. I've heard of the station. I just, when I hear I think, oh, it's an old country station that Bob Dylan used to get from Minnesota. But this is a rock and roll station. Right?
Rock and roll station. I don't know much about the history of it, but it was a legit major station.
Yep. They actually also broke Triumph, so they broke two Canadian bands in America. Okay. They helped them a lot.
We can talk about Canadian music and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame along the same lines here, because there's a little story to tell there too, how selective the committee is. I was trying to find who was in charge, who were the other members. Who at this point I forgot the current president is a guy named Greg Harris. He was in record business. He was in management. I think he did some kind of chain of stores that dealt in old vinyl and things like that. But have you guys ever heard of Dave Marsh?
Yes. Yeah. Author, journalist. Yeah.
Yep. He was the editor of Cream for a while. He was a member of the board. John Landau, Bruce Springsteen's producer manager, he was chairman of the nominating committee up until last year.
Wow.
Okay. So who else did I find? Oh, and they've had criticisms. Most of these people were non-musicians. And it became the personal criteria. We've talked about the voting process. I find that very confusing.
Yeah.
How some people can get more votes, but then not get in. The attorney, Susan Evans, there was a point where she was worried about ticket sales. If there's a year where there's not a big name on it, they dropped a very well-known doo-wop group to put a more name artist on a bill. So this doo-wop group didn't get nominated.
Yeah.
A lot of the
$10,000 a ticket.
Yeah. Also, exactly. And, some of these 50s and 60s artists, they got bumped in favor of 70s artists because they just weren't that big a draw because, it was a business as well.
Yeah.
I read where there was backstage lobbying. So maybe last year some certain singer's manager or some guy was leaning on Jan saying, she should get in. He should get in.
Or somebody just saying Kate Bush, nah, too young, not famous enough, whatever. Not this year. Yeah.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I could see Jimmy Iovine saying, hey, he made me money. Get him in. It's a business thing.
Well, I hope not.
And another thing it's tilted against the fans is you could get like 10,000 votes from fans, but that only equals one vote overall. The fan vote is very small. in the final
that's right.
tally.
And there are loopholes too. I think is things like that. There's been petitions that fans have lobbied, without money, the Hall of Fame and gotten ignored. They're criticized for passing over certain genres, prog rock being one, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
looking at
Yeah.
the 60s top 40. Some of those, I mean, like the Bo Brummels, are they in? Even some of the Hey 98.6, whatever, there was like Keith or whatever the guy's now. Like, there's a lot of classic pop. Maybe the association might be in.
They'll have to create another category for stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, how about some kind of achievement, or put that under musical excellence, the stuff that you can still hear.
Yeah,
a lot of those songs, today. They ignored New Orleans funk. Has not been in there much. There seems to be a bias toward Canadian bands, besides the main ones, but like the Guess Who are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wow,
that's bullshit.
Yeah,
or
bet you they're in the Canadian Hall of Fame. Canadian music.
I'm sure they are, but why? Because American Woman.
But seriously, you never know. Might have pissed Jan Werner off, right?
Right. Well, they mentioned the ones that Neil Young, Joni Mitchell. I mean, 4/5 of the band. And Leonard Cohen, they're all inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I mean, the Guess Who were around before a lot of them, and still together. And interesting, some of these nominating committees, they can change year to year. In 2007, a guy named Joel Sullivan, another music industry guy, he didn't submit a ballot because he didn't think any of the candidates were worthy. So he sat it out. I should have gone back to 2007 to see who the inductees were. See, this guy didn't think any of them cut the mustard. So it's we've talked about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We know Hall of Shame, and this kind of seems like
you have
stuff we're given.
Do you have people who are been snubbed?
I do, but there are some people like the Sex Pistols didn't show up. They called the museum a piss stain and urine in wine.
What, you mean they were nominated or something?
In 2006.
You're kidding.
They're in. I mean, come on. It's
wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
Lou,
Lou,
do you want to know who was inducted in 2007?
I do.
Okay, REM, the Ronettes,
motherfucker,
Patti Smith, and Van Halen.
Kidding me?
Yeah.
And this guy didn't feel people. Wow, he didn't feel Patti Smith was worthy.
Well, he probably didn't want to be there with REM or Patti Smith. I mean, think about Michael Stipe being like inducted the same year as Patti Smith.
Yeah.
His idol, right?
Yeah. One of them. Now, Steve Miller has kind of criticized them. Elton John criticized them for not inducting Donna Summer while she was alive. They've been accused of gender bias. Of the 719 inductees, 61 are women.
Wow.
Now, I forgot the year it was when the Dave Clark 5 were up for induction. They had 6 more votes than Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, but they didn't get in. Jan Venner said, "We cannot go another year without a rap group being in." So they, in a sense,
he was just covering bases, not thinking who
turned it into a business too.
Yeah.
And Dolly Parton, she asked for her name to be withdrawn because she's so honest about it. So that was a big flag for me. Like, that's like, okay, come on, they're pandering.
Yeah, and they gave her. I saw that. And they gave her some wacky shaped guitar, to play, like something she would never play.
I'm okay with a country artist every year, but don't make it new country the minute they do that. Like, there's artists that are 20 years that are considered new country. If they induct one of them, I already don't care who's in. But
I have a little random thing later on about one country artist in particular. Yep.
Okay.
I got some. I'll throw out some random nominating committee names, and I got some snubs. Cool. Questlove Tom Morello was on this year's nominating committee. Did he nominate himself? Yeah.
Of course he did.
Dave Grohl, Linda Perry, and I think Perry. She was supposed to kick your ass at some point in one of our shows.
She will one day. She will.
Oh,
you know what? What's that annoying song that she was involved in?
Hey.
Is that her?
Yeah. No, that's not. Is it?
Probably.
Is that Four Non Blondes?
Four Non Blondes, L7. I don't know, one of those bands she was involved in. Yeah.
Daryl McDaniels. Okay. Meg Griffin, the DJ. Steve Van Zandt, a nominating committee member.
Really?
At one point, David Frick. He's the DJ.
He's
Lenny
a Rolling Stone, former Rolling Stone writer.
Yeah. Paul Schaefer, Robbie Robertson was one for several years. Jerry Wexler. So it's so.
Wow.
I mean, I guess Tom Hanks was probably on the nominating committee at one point.
Wow.
Yeah.
And but
And
just
you-
mentioned David Fricke.
Yeah.
That's what I call him. I think
I
of all
do
the
too.
writers of Rolling Stone, you got ones that they get totally left field, artistic, blah blah blah. What did he mean? Blah blah. David Fricke was always just a music lover. When he talks, you can hear that he just loves music.
Absolutely, that's the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
thing with him. Is
I've
he
seen
just
interviews,
loved music. Yep.
That was the
It's for
Music
the- it's
Rose
for the
drink
love of
break
music.
right there. By the way,
That's
We
right.
both
It was
took-
simultaneous. Good
Oh,
timing.
really? All right, I'm going to have to add to
Yeah.
that.
I'll see you one and raise you another one. Ding.
and
Yeah,
the
so
show
of
goes
all
off
the-
the rails.
But we know of all the people that get in, there's a whole bunch that don't get in for
Yeah,
various
Yeah,
reasons.
boy, we've
I mean-
discussed this at various times, but let's hit
Yeah.
it. Let's hit it.
I'm gonna go alphabetical. You guys tell me whether they're worthy of inclusion or not. Okay.
What do you mean?
Okay, so
Thumbs
we'll
up,
do-
thumbs down? Yes,
Yeah.
no?
we'll just say
Thumbs up,
yes or
thumbs-
no.
Well, also, this is a podcast, so we
Yep.
got to go verbal too. We can do both.
Yep.
So
Okay,
we're doing yes or no to are they worthy?
Are they
Yes.
worthy?
Yes,
Yes.
Should they be in? Should they be in? Okay. America.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
You
I'm
shut
kidding.
the fuck
Of
up.
course they should have been in there a decade ago.
Here
You
we
wanna
go
be
again,
different.
Perry.
Oh man, there he goes again. Okay,
No,
how
yes.
About, how about Oasis?
I
I'm
think
saying
it's too
no.
soon.
I think it's too
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
Me too. Thumbs
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
No.
Dave Matthews Band. I think that's it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with them because as much as I don't
can't
love
say.
them, I think
I'm
they
not a
do.
fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I have a bit of disdain for them, so I'm going to have to, you know,
Say no.
yeah.
Okay. Alice in Chains. I say yes.
No,
I say
Yeah.
yes. I say yes.
I'm not
I say
ready
li-
for the grunge stuff going in. I don't know. It's personal.
Well, that was the '90s, Mark.
Yeah.
I just think they made such a huge impact that's still lasting,
I
and-
agree.
and they couldn't replace. I think they should.
I mean, I've even heard, you know, the guys from Nirvana talking about that Alice in Chains band, and they were so great, and we tried to, yeah,
I like them.
influential without a
did like
doubt.
Ask our friend Scott McLean. He'll say yes.
Yeah,
How about the B-52s? I thought they were in.
they
Yes,
you're
I
kidding
think
me.
they
They are
deserve.
not in there.
They're not in there.
They should absolutely be. It's
Yes,
that's an insult.
Absolutely.
That's an
Look when they started. What 1970,
Like 6 or something. I mean, like in
and
the
they were doing what they
Yeah.
were doing.
Yeah.
That is groundbreaking.
without them, there'd be no Yoko Ono.
Aye.
How about Bad Company?
Wait, where's the sound effects? Do we have?
You're the guy with the sound effects.
Ba-dum-bum.
All right. Yes. Thank you. Okay, Bad Company. I say yes.
I say yes, absolutely.
Mark?
Come on.
Yes, I was initially
was
going to
almost
say no
Roger.
because that scene they came from. But you're right. Paul Rogers. He is the
What do they have,
statesman of
something
rock and
against
roll
rock
vocals.
radio?
No. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
They should be in.
Okay.
They should be in. Yeah,
Barry White.
absolutely. You got to be kidding
Influence.
me. He's not in.
Nope. As far as this list was from, like, it was 2023. I mean,
Oh
what's that?
man, that's
Yeah.
an insult too.
Yeah. Oh, there's some more insults along the way. In fact, I got a big one coming up. Huge
Yeah.
insult. How about Bauhaus?
I say yes.
I'm not a. I hear about them so much. I think in that genre, I think is that another genre that's kind
That's
of
that British,
not represent British depression
kind of art
sitcom?
house. Yeah, you could describe it
Kinda-
any way you want.
Well, yeah, I
but-
mean it's
yeah.
kind of down. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard about them. I know so many fans of them, so I'm going to say yes,
Yeah,
just based upon
absolutely.
They're very
word of mouth of
influential.
people I trust. Okay,
Influence
Uh,
is big. Yeah.
here's one. The three of us going to weigh in on this. Big Star.
Yes.
Oh gosh,
Come on.
1,000% they should be in there.
Yes. Yeah.
Create,
What-
for influence or whatever the category may be.
Yeah. Longevity. I heard the letter the other day.
Yeah.
Not the Joe Cocker version, the box
Yeah.
tops version.
Well, that's Alex Chilton. That's not Big Star, but Big Star is the band.
Wait, that wasn't Alex. Wait, the letter wasn't Alex Chilton, was it?
Was that on their
Leonard
third
was the
album?
Box Tops, but he was 16 years old, lead singer of the Box Tops.
Yeah, but the letter's credited to the box tops.
Correct. Not Big
no,
Star.
Not Big
Yeah.
Star. That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Well, he should be in for like a lifetime
Absolutely, he
musical
should.
excellence.
I texted
Big
you guys the
Star.
other night.
Vertigan.
I texted you guys the other night. I did a deep dive into Big Star and that third album. I couldn't listen to it. Not that I loved it. It was just very.
It hit
I don't know. It just got to me, you know.
And it's one of those like Peter Buck-isms where he said, 1,000 people had the Big Star record, but all of them started a band.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the first bands I ever saw in high school, these guys at Don Bosco in Ramsey, New Jersey, they were playing Letter in the cafeteria.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. How about this one? Billy Idol.
I say yes.
Yeah, Perry, I'm surprised you would say that. I agree for many reasons. I was talking to Scott McLean about him on his last show. I don't mind. At the time, the whole sneer, the whole, that image thing. Like he's like this Elvis. But I mean, that first album is good. Hot in the City.
Yep.
He coined the term Generation X, as far as I know.
And the sneering and the what, it was video. It was MTV time, so he had to create a persona for the videos.
Now, Rebel Yell, I think the drumming that's a really good rock and roll drummer, Tommy Price, I believe. Here's the biggest crime of all time, almost as bad as America. Blue Oyster Cult. Put them in the fucking hall.
They really should be in. Not because I like shit. They
absolutely
different. They're just different.
What category would they be in? Would they be in metal? Would they be in rock?
No. They were a rock band, and you couldn't categorize them really. They became almost like a Long Island metal band in the 80s and 90s.
You know what they would lump them into? The Musical Excellence Award. That's what Judas Priest got in under.
Yeah. Really?
That would probably be what they would get in under, but they should be.
That's kind of a slap on the back, like you've been around a long time, Judas Priest. You've been around a long time. Yeah.
We don't know where to put you. It's not the kiddie table, but it's not exactly. You're not really current either.
Yeah, Judas Priest got in under the Musical Influence Award, not the Musical
Influence.
As a non-Blue Oyster Cult fan, they should absolutely be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Another insult.
And not only for that reason, their longevity and the fact they're all over. They wrote one of the top 10 classic rock songs of all time.
Two of them.
Well, two, but I mean, Don't Fear the Reaper.
Don't Fear the Reaper is one of those.
It's one of those
black hole puns.
It's exactly
going down in history.
I'm gonna go further and say "Light My Fire." For me, it's on that same caliber.
Yep.
Also,
by the way, Oh, sorry, I thought you were done with them.
Oh no, the last album that they put out, the first album, like 22 years.
Yeah.
For a band of their age, and it's really good. I gotta say,
phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Eric Burdon
still playing.
Really good.
What's that?
You could go on social media, get your friends on your social media sites to be texting or emailing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and say, Blue Oyster Cult, Blue Oyster Cult. What is wrong with you people?
Well, it says here they ignored petitions. Petitions were ignored, I don't.
By the way, as far as Billy Idol's concerned, I have to disagree with you guys. Just throw it in there. I don't think
really. I think he's
a hit machine from the 80s and 90s, but that to me doesn't make you a. I don't know.
You said hit machine. Opinion. I mean, sometimes that's what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is about. Hits.
Good point. Right? I just don't see him inspiring, being an inspiration or an influence so much. But
Dave Clark 5 had hits.
Yeah, they did. How about Bjork?
Yes. Maybe not now, but she does need to be in at some point, I think.
I can honestly say I only had one record of hers when she was in the Sugar Cubes, and it was a good record. But
it was.
I don't know enough about her.
I'm gonna call her a contender. Yeah, Sugar Cubes.
I think she's a Kate Bush type contender now. Kate Bush got in.
Yeah.
I think maybe another year or so. Bjork
unlike
will
Kate Bush, she never had that big hit, but she certainly got a following.
Well, she had one really big hit.
Right.
Yeah.
How about Brian Eno?
Yeah, under the Excellence in Music Award or whatever you want to call it. Absolutely.
Yes.
You got to be kidding me. I can't believe you're saying these things, Lou. These people are not in there.
If my source is wrong, I will stand corrected.
No, I
this
bet
one, Captain Beefheart. Better than Zappa.
Is Frank Sinatra in? I mean, Frank Zappa?
I would think so. I think
so. Beefheart should go
Zappa's name didn't come in. I think he should be.
Yeah, in that scene he was in before he hooked up with Zappa, he was in that country, late 60s, almost country, but he had blues.
Avant-garde. I mean, you couldn't pin the guy down like that. But,
And also, remember, a while back we did this thing on music magazines from when we were younger. Captain Beefheart was always in those magazines.
Yeah.
I never really got into where, all about him, but it was always articles on Captain Beefheart in those magazines.
Yeah.
I always wondered who Captain Beefheart was and Professor Longhair.
Yeah, with great names too.
Now you know what a long hair is, right?
No.
It's not a hippie. A long hair is a classically trained musician. I don't know why they call them. They're more buttoned down,
Really?
more formal. Yeah, that was a long hair.
Amadeus.
Wow.
Wolfgang Amadeus
I'd
Mozart. the
probably
long
going
hair.
back to the
Yeah.
wigs or whatever.
Yeah.
So the next one was a surprise to me, and I didn't associate it. Cher. I think are Sonny and
Wow.
Cher in. I don't know if Sonny and Cher are in. I think they probably are.
I think she should be in. What do you
yeah.
think?
I
think
do.
so.
I think so. I mean, she had a lot of solo hits in the 70s, Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But
Half Breed.
It depends on the criteria too.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what the
even into the-
criteria is in these kind of categories.
She was a
Into the modern
trailblazer.
age.
And kind of like Tina Turner, even though she wasn't abused by Sonny like in the same way, but she went out on her own.
Yeah.
And she created a huge career
I think
on
some
her own.
people just disliked her voice.
Yeah,
Sure.
they did. They
You
always
know,
said
the
she sang
level
flat.
that she sang. You know what I
She's
mean?
like a-
Some people sing here, some people sing here.
It's a woman's equivalent of a baritone, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, yeah.
But they said she sang flat, which she didn't. Okay. So this is one that's not in either. Chic.
Oh, definitely. I think they should be in.
Is that the what's
Bernard
his name?
Edwards and Nile Rodgers.
Bernard Edwards and Nile Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
The Chic.
surprised they're not in already.
Big
Yeah.
influence, that band.
They were a big influence. I don't think they didn't have a ton of hits.
I can tell you,
Yeah.
Le Freak.
I think, but I think Edwards and Rogers maybe the band. I don't think. I'm going to say no,
Okay.
unless there's something about them I've missed. But
I see them with the influence. They did influence a ton of
Yeah.
people.
yeah, what do you think? Bob?
R&B in the 80s and 90s, a lot of them came up saying,
Yeah.
that was our influence.
How about the Commodores?
Yeah, I think they should be in.
I think that. Well, we know Lionel Richie's in on his own, right?
Believe so. Almost positive.
Was
on
it
that.
last year or the year before?
Yeah, I seem to remember seeing
I
Dave
think
Grohl
he did.
playing with him. Maybe that was the Grammys or something. I don't know.
Maybe that was the Grammys. It
Yeah,
was weird.
but I think the Commodores should be in there.
I would
Yeah.
put him in just for Brickhouse,
Yeah.
just for the drum break on Brickhouse.
Yeah,
You
he
heard the
was
drummer's
inducted
name?
last. He was inducted last year.
They were
It was last
they
year.
were
Okay.
they were kings of the charts that
Yeah.
I didn't really listen to. You know, I didn't. You know what I mean? I didn't listen
Yeah.
to the R&B stations. And
I heard a
they
lot
were
of disco,
kings. Yeah.
roller rink music, and the drummer had the coolest name, Walter Orange. His last name
Wow.
is Orange. That's pretty cool.
Cool.
How about
That's
the
cool.
Damned?
I think they should, as innovators of.
In that scene, were
continuing
they big
influence.
influencers? Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think they were. I think they
Yeah,
were.
they were. Yep.
then definitely they should.
If they were from the South, they could be called the Danged.
I thought they were English.
But
I want to start a punk band called the Danged.
God dang it. Bat
Southern
shit.
punk.
I'm going to start bat shit. Bat shit.
That's a great name. How about the Dead Kennedys? I wouldn't know. I don't know. I don't think. Maybe
I don't
Jello
know.
Biafra.
there is going
I
to
say
have
no.
to eventually is going to become a category
Yeah.
with like the Black Flag, the Dead Key. You know, there's going to be a
MC5. Yeah,
like-
those
like
seminal
there's-
punk bands.
there's punk, but then there's other punk. You know, they're
Yeah.
going to have to.
I've heard a lot about the Dead Kennedys from many people. I've never listened to them, so I can't say anything.
Yeah. I've read more about them than listened to.
Yeah.
Okay, how about Devo? I'm shocked.
Yes.
I'm fucking
Yes.
I am
shocked.
shocked. I am
Put
shocked.
them in. I mean,
Put 'em
come
in.
on. I mean,
Yeah.
they're so. I mean, they're so
Yeah.
relevant, and not only that, you know, the Mark Mothersbaugh, all the music that he's done. That band was influential. I know so many fans of Devo.
And I've passed through Rubber City, Akron, Ohio, man. It's like, wow, to come from that place.
Yeah.
And you know how far back they go? Mark Mothersbaugh was at Kent State when the massacre
Yeah,
happened.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
yep,
right.
yep.
So with Joe Walsh, he was there too. So
Yep. Okay. Evidently, Dick Dale is not in. Come on.
Wow.
Ouch.
Come on.
Ouch. Yeah.
he doesn't sell tickets.
Create a surf category.
Yeah. Well, maybe next year because Link Ray got in.
That's true.
Yeah, get the Ventures in there if they're not already.
Surf
You know,
category. I
surf
mean, yeah,
groups.
there's so many
yeah.
more interesting categories. You know, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame could also do well to educate people about music as well and saying,
Yeah.
you know, someone had never heard of
Good
Dick Dale
point.
or
Yeah.
whomever, and just, you know, but that's up
Yeah.
to podcasts like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
How
it.
about this one? Mark, what do you think? Mark, do you think, I'm serious, do you think Emerson, Lake and Palmer should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yes, I do, because them and Yes were they defined. I know before them you had King Crimson, but those two, that was progressive music. They were playing huge arenas. Yeah, they should be. And you know what? I'm going to say I don't think they'll ever get in my lifetime.
Really?
I really don't. I don't know why, but I just don't think they're going to get in. They put in Yes. Yes got in. Boom, it's done. Rush got in, and they're going to forget about it.
Well, okay. How
Does
about
anybody want to know
Echo?
what I think?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Barry. They should be in.
They should absolutely be in.
Absolutely.
I was ready to grab my
huge.
heart, Perry. I was ready to go, oh!
It's the big one, Barry.
Listen, we're music guys. We always friends. Every house I went to, there was an Emerson, Lake, and Palmer record. Everybody had those records.
A friend of mine had the brain salad surgery on the back of his denim jacket.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I
big
remember
time.
you saying that one time. Yeah.
My old band Phallocinium played Carnival 9 and From the Beginning.
Boom, bop, boom, bop,
And
boom,
I hung
back,
out
my
with,
friend.
I
We
was
tried to-
friends
we
with
tried to play
ELP,
Carnival then.
what you would call like deadheads. These are ELP heads. I don't know what they're called,
They're
but like
called elp heads.
ELP heads. I hung out with a guy named Sal. This guy was the biggest ELP head I've ever known. And it was like a satellite of ELP heads.
Yeah. My brother Todd liked the LP.
Yeah,
That's how I heard it.
good taste.
Yep.
Yep. My sister Stacy, who got me into disco, get me. She was the disco sisters. My three sisters had.
Yeah.
Stacy was disco, Sue was R&B, and Allison was just rock and roll. And she got me into. Stacy got me into ELP. She had brain cell surgery. I was in first grade in Zion Lutheran listening to it. What does that do to your brain? Fucks you up.
What
I remember you saying that's why you were a weird kid or something.
Weird
I
kid.
still am a weird kid.
Yes, he is. What Who song has the word disco in it?
Sister Disco.
Goodbye,
Disco.
Sister Disco.
Good
With
song.
your flashing trash pans.
Is this
I always
James
like that. I
Mason?
always like that song. That's a great. That's Keith Moon had a great last album.
Yeah, that's one
He
of my
really did.
favorite albums too.
Oh, that was on, what was it? Who Are You? Or?
Who's
Who's last?
Who are you?
It was on Who's Dead.
Not to be taken away, the chair. Interesting, right? It's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he had a
Yeah.
belly.
Paul is dead,
Mooney.
not to be taken away.
Yeah. Was he wearing like a riding outfit?
Well, I heard
I
they
think,
had
he,
the
he
I think he
chair.
had riding boots on. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had the chair that way. I've heard because his belly was enormous. He was just in bad shape.
Yeah. Well, you can see it on the Who Are You video.
Yeah, yeah,
I think he's got the headphones were like taped to his head or something.
yeah.
I heard they were taped to his head. The duct
And it
tape.
still came off.
What's it look like? Okay. Back to the list. Okay. Echo and the Bunnymen. I'm saying no.
You know what?
I don't.
There's
only
an
because
English
I don't-
category of music like that. It's
Yeah.
almost like
Lips like
I don't know,
sugar.
orchestral maneuvers in they're guitar based. Echo and the Bunnymen, and Morrissey, and those kind of
You know
things.
what? They
and
I would put the
predated
Fix in
the
before that.
the
they
Smiths.
predated the electronic music of the '80s with guitars. They did that lowered, but
Just
they
like the
used
Fix.
guitars.
The Fix.
Yeah,
Are Flock of Seagulls in?
I don't. They're not, right?
It's all in that same
Yeah,
mid
yeah.
to late 80s era.
so we'd have to see who from that scene is in, if anyone,
Is in,
and
yeah.
see, because you can't induct them all, I guess.
Right.
Like I
just
said,
don't
they're going to have
know.
to come up with another category.
9 Inch Nails are in, right? Or at
Yeah, I
least,
believe so.
I
Yeah,
believe so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about this? Let's move on. Foreigner. Put him in.
Oh boy,
They should be in.
they didn't have enough
I
hits,
think-
Lou.
I
They
think
didn't have
we're-
enough radio hits.
No, they didn't. No.
Yeah.
somebody's being sarcastic.
And whether
my
what
first-
they are now, it doesn't matter. But I think they should be.
I
That's like
I
they're like that-
initially felt like when you said Bad Company, I want to say I don't know, but you're right. They may not have had the biggest influence, but they've had the hits, and that's part of the
Hot
how you
Blooded,
get in.
Jukebox Hero. I want
you're
to
gonna-
know.
you're gonna-
Love. You could just name them.
You're gonna hear
Right?
"Waiting for a Girl Like You" for I heard it the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And even as far as my sometime disdain for 80s and ballads and stuff, I always like "Waiting
Yeah.
for a Girl Like You." I thought that was
Me
a
too.
really well done song. It's a great vocal performance. I mean, Lou
And-
Graham alone, one of the best underrated and underappreciated rock vocalists.
And when you're listening to a
in that
stereo,
list,
Double Vision is a rockin' friggin' song,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Come
Mick-
on.
that whole album is great.
Mick Jones wrote some great songs. I love the
Yeah.
first album. It's almost prog.
Yeah, yeah.
Who was the the multi-instrumentalist that was in King Crimson. That
Ian
was,
McDonald. Ian McDonald.
Okay,
He
right,
was with the
right.
He
band
was
up
in
until
Foreigner at one point, right?
he was
Yeah.
up with them for the first 3 albums up until Head Games, and then
First 3 albums.
Nick Jones said, "I want to pare it down," because there was a bunch of guys in the band. He had a keyboardist too, and
Greenwood, Al Greenwood.
yeah.
But it's kind of like that Deep Purple thing, Lou, where you always say, like, Deep Purple is Ian Gillan to you, Phase 2.
Yeah.
Same thing. Foreigner to me is Lou Gramm is the guy singing in Foreigner.
Yeah. I've heard some of the Journey stuff, but I mean, they're really good. They're still really good.
I'm going to say I love the new album. I know it's a minority opinion on this show, but I love it.
Well, no,
I've
just seen some videos and stuff. I'm like, it sounds great.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Of who?
Yeah.
Journey.
Journey.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Hal Gurney. Okay, moving along. We talked about this earlier. The Guess Who are not in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should
How
be
about
in.
this one? Harry Nilsson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
And because people know they might know more songs he's written than the Lime and the Coconut. But anyway.
Yeah.
Also,
So Kermit the
cinema,
Frog
too.
wrote that song. Damn it.
This is a personal favorite band of mine, and I think they should be in just because I love them. Husker Du.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about him. Really?
You should check them out.
Yeah.
They were like a speed pop metal.
Lou and I know a lot about
We know
Husker
a lot about
Du.
them. I think they should be. I also think they were hugely influential. They were so important back in their day.
They were
Really?
the Minneapolis scene, right?
Part of the Minneapolis scene, and Bob Mould. There were two main songwriters: the drummer Grant Hart and Bob Mould, the guitar player.
Oh, Bob Mould.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob. I love Sugar. That drummer had one drum fill.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but I just think they should be, and I think they were a bigger influence. I think. Well,
Yeah.
a better band than Replacements. Okay, Ice-T, not in.
I think he should be in.
Really?
I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Wow.
He
How about-
he was he was a rapper initially, but he's not a rapper, not at all. He just did so many different things. He went into metal. He even was a pimp for a while, which is not good.
Acting,
Acting, but yeah, he should
Surviving
be
the Game.
Yeah.
With Chief Rooney is in that movie.
Yeah.
John C. McKinley and F. Murray Abraham. Why do people put that? Why do people do that?
F. Murray Abraham.
Do you call him F?
Well,
F,
when they
get
joined the
Get
Screen
the
Actors
F over
Guild,
here.
there could have been a Murray Abraham in there already, or
No, a lot of people do it. It's a thing.
Yeah.
E. Howard Hunt. Maybe if you do that, you're really an assassin for the government.
Maybe.
L. Theodore Colicchio.
like Chuck, what's his name? The main game show guy.
Why don't we do that? Our
Chuck
new name
Barris.
for the show.
Chuck Barris. Or F. Scott Fitzgerald.
M. Edward Smith. You're
Edward
L.
Smith.
What? You're L. Theodore.
L. Theodore Colicchio.
All right, I'm M. Edward. Come on, Perry. What's yours?
Or R. Dean Taylor.
I'm-
Indiana wants me.
Are you P.
I'm-
Diddy?
We're derailing. Okay. How about In Excess?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
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 We went through Iron Maiden. Yeah.
Yes.
I
They
can't
should be.
believe it. Yeah.
If Priest
Bruce-
got
Bruce-
in, Maiden should be in.
They'll never get in because Bruce Dickinson basically called it a load of hogwash bollocks. And he said the American executives would know good music if it came up and humped them on the leg or whatever.
Yeah,
the thing
That
Black
would be
Sabbath
something
always
that-
said that
Okay.
too.
Yeah, that's only the fans would get him in. No one else. That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
How about this one, fellas? The Jam.
Yes.
Whoa, yeah.
Okay.
But I guarantee you though, if they were there, they wouldn't play.
Paul Weller wouldn't go.
Paul
I bet
Weller
you.
would
He
not.
wouldn't
yeah.
leave England.
Yeah.
You know what he would
No,
say?
it's
not
not
worth
that
the price of the plane
he's just
tickets.
moved on with the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Jane's Addiction? say no.
Might be a little too. I don't know.
I don't
How
think
much
so.
have they done? Like they had that first album, which was really influential.
Yeah.
But did they really do you see people today saying, I do what I do because of Jane's Addiction?
No.
I don't know. You
The
know?
Lollapalooza tour is, I think that's more of a crowning achievement for him than
Yeah.
the band
And
itself.
also think of the. What was that? The '90s with the MTV videos. These videos, and it makes people dislike you sometimes with the
Yeah. 'Cause they get
overkill
sick of the
with seeing
videos.
your face. Right?
Yeah. Too much. Okay, how about Jethro Tull?
Yes.
Wow.
Put him in under the heavy metal category.
Yeah.
Didn't
No, I
that
think
happen
they
on the
should.
Grammys or something?
Yeah, they got the heavy metal Grammy. Okay. How about Jim Croce? Put him in.
Oh,
Yeah.
please.
Put him
Absolutely.
in.
Fuck yeah.
All right, we're gonna run through Joy Division and / New Order.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
Well, they
Yeah.
were nominated, but they didn't make the cut.
yeah.
Hmm.
So they should be. How about King Crimson?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
They stayed current. They did. They haven't.
Yeah.
Even though the 80s and the 90s, they changed directions, changed
Yeah.
styles a lot.
And Robert Fripp does great videos with his wife.
Yes, he does.
She
Yeah.
doesn't wear a
Ever-
bra in
there's
those videos.
Hers was
Yes, she
ever
does.
moving. Yep.
How about Kool and the Gang?
Wow.
You know what? If we're going to say Commodores, they're just
Yeah.
as influential. So yes,
agree. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Aren't
How
they
about
from
the
New Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about
Really?
Kool-
I didn't know
yeah.
that.
Yeah, quite a few. Ronald Bell, Earl Toon Jr., who I met. He, I don't know, 3 people from Kool and the Gang did an appearance at our roller rink in the 70s. And
You told me that story one
Yeah.
time. You told us that story. Yeah.
Also,
yeah,
Evelyn
But
Champagne
it wasn't
King.
Evelyn. Yeah, but it wasn't cool. It was the other guys, right? It was the gang.
Ronald Bell.
Yeah.
Bell wasn't there. It was okay. How about the Marvelettes? Mr. Postman.
Who are they? What were their songs?
Mr. No, they did the first Mr. Postman.
Oh yeah, come on.
They might have done 8, 6, 7, 5, 10, 1, 9.
Yeah,
I mean, I think all those girl groups should be in.
Yeah.
I mean, if the
Yeah.
Shangri-Las are in, if the Ronettes are in, I think the Marvelettes should be in.
Yeah. Agreed.
How about the Monkees? So it's a weird one.
that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah.
I think so.
They were.
They didn't write them, but a lot of people didn't write their songs.
Hey, yeah, that's right.
Good
Studio
point.
musicians played a lot of that stuff, and people
Yeah.
just sang it. Yeah.
And Perry, that book you gave me, the 100 best-selling albums of the 60s, every album that they did is in there.
I gave you a
It's-
book
I-
about.
I didn't. It's one of those little shorty books, like the top.
I
the
think
top
the
one or
monkeys should be in there. Absolutely.
not. Mike Nesmith was kind of ambiguous about it. He was ambivalent, rather. He's just like,
Yeah.
but he was also being very sly and almost coldly
Yeah.
calculating by saying it was basically the Hall of Fame's a business. But I think, Mark, you think the monkeys should be in?
It's tough because they were assembled as a fictional band for a TV
Yeah.
show, and that's what's tough
Right.
about it. But they proved that after the show, they could still make good music. So yeah, I think they should be in. If they
And I
ended
think-
with the
yeah.
show, forget
Yeah.
it, But they didn't.
If
And
not
made
just,
made a wacky movie, by the way, called Head.
yes, they did.
Like, talk about an acid trip.
Check this out, guys. On Instagram, I follow Michael Stipe.
Yeah.
Mickey Dolenz is doing an EP of REM covers.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I've sent you guys some stuff, some acoustic things he did. He did Good Morning, Good Morning by the Beatles.
You
Yes,
sent
that's
me
really
a
good.
thing of him singing like some Beatles songs, and
Yeah. Good Morning, Good
And he
Morning.
also did an album of Michael Nesmith songs too.
Yeah.
He did a whole album of Nesmith.
He's really
Yep.
talented, very talented.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Soul surviving monkey.
and he's the last man standing.
Yeah. How about Motley Crue?
Well,
I don't
Mark?
like them, but in
I'm not-
that
yeah, me neither.
genre, they were very influential. They really were.
And I understand they were really good before they got really shitty.
I have their first
People
album. I
say
love
the
it.
first. I
Mark,
hear
Mark,
that's what I've heard, Mark. Yeah.
I've got, in
Mark
fact, the
always
first
says
two
the
albums.
first album rocks.
Yeah.
It's sleazy. It's punky. You know?
That's what I've heard. A lot of people I would be surprised to hear would say that. Did say
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of. I can't
I
say.
think-
I
I think it's too soon. Not that they've been around a long time, but there's so many other groups from that time
Yeah.
that.
Vince
Wait.
Neil has to redeem himself as a human being.
Oh, gee, have you? I don't want to get into him.
Fuck him.
He's got a
we
bigger
don't have
belly
to
than
get
me.
into that,
He's out.
yeah. No, but
how
I
about
mean,
Motorhead?
with the partying and you know, getting somebody killed in a
Motorhead?
car,
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
Yeah. Motorhead should be in.
Motorhead should be in.
I think they should be in.
They should be in.
What do
Wow.
you say, Perry?
Well, I'm a Lemmy guy. I like Lemmy. So.
Suspense.
I can't claim to know. Really, I mean, I've heard 3 Motorhead songs in my life, so
They were.
but
punk
I
before-
know
think
that
they
they're
should be in.
influential enough to be
Yeah.
in
They
there.
were punk before punk came about. Then during
Yeah.
punk, they weren't punk. They were just
Yeah.
they rode every musical
Mhm.
craze, and they rode into the end. Right to
And he
the
said
end,
he
they
used
were
to
making
score
albums.
drugs for Jimi Hendrix too. didn't he?
Yeah,
Whenever I saw them on TV, they were almost like Rush to me in some ways. Like when I first saw Rush, I'm like, like I kind of liked them, but I'm like, there's something about it was just kind of like Mode had
Yeah.
that sort of quality. Wasn't easy listening.
Yep.
No.
Okay, how about the New York Dolls?
Now,
That's
I
another
don't
one.
like them.
I say no.
I don't like them, but if they
Are-
got in,
are-
I would understand it. You know.
yeah.
Create a New York category.
Well,
there's-
interesting you should say that because there's
Yeah.
there's another band that has. I'm going to mention Television's not in.
They should be. in.
wow. That's an
think that-
influential band, by the way.
Yeah.
Television.
Yes, they
When you
should.
guys told me about listening to that album you recommended, when we used to have that
Marquee
great
Moon,
album
yep.
recommendation,
Yeah.
that album I listened to, I'm like, this predated the music they were doing on it. Like that was coming out in the 80s. Like they were definitely inspiration
Yeah,
to enough
yep.
people. Inspiration to me is 90% of how you get in my
Yeah.
opinion, more than sales, you know?
I mean, think
Yeah.
about Kraftwerk
Last thing.
in like 1972, 10 years before Human League,
Yeah.
doing all that electronic, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How about Nick Cave?
I say yes.
I think so.
I say
I'm going to
yes.
go with yes. I'm going to
Yeah.
go with
In fact,
yes.
didn't I hear Scott
It's an acquired
McLean,
taste.
our friend from Florida, say that he just recently saw Nick Cave,
Yep.
the
Yes.
Bad Seeds?
So no, just
I
Nick
don't.
Cave
I don't think it was just Nick Cave. Yeah.
with a bass player, I believe, and
Yeah.
and they were he played piano.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
But the
Cool.
same thing, like a huge following. Been
Yeah.
around for a long time.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
And I hope they're not judging it on record sales because that would be really insulting to.
That has a lot to do with it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why,
they
in my
mentioned-
opinion, inspiration to me is 90% of how you would get in if I was a judge. Like, did you inspire something even though you didn't sell records? Because we see a lot of that. Look, big star.
And-
You know?
these bands inspired a lot of the artists that got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes. Yes.
I'm wondering if, like, some of these categories, like, you know what, you never sold a lot of records, but you've been around and you were very influential, so you're in. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
They should have the cool kids table.
Yep.
How about Ozzy as a solo?
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know.
Those
Yeah?
first few
Okay.
albums inspired
Oh,
in my
hell yeah.
generation a
It's
lot of
crappy
people.
sounding.
Sharon on the committee.
I did see. I
No,
did not
because
see
he'd
her
be
name.
in. If she was on the committee, he'd be in.
I saw
He'd
Katy
be-
Perry's name on a committee.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow, she can
Okay.
read. Okay, cool.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah.
But I'm
Give
bum
yourself-
of the
give yourself a
night
bit on
is
bum.
Perry.
Yeah, really. Where's the?
Well, maybe it's like a color coded thing. So anyway, all right.
Get smart. Sorry about that.
That's fun. How about the Pet Shop Boys? Moving along.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm ambivalent because I know a handful of songs. I think they're in retrospect they're catchy. It wasn't music I liked back in the '80s. I didn't want to hear any synth anything like that.
But
They
But
may
those
not
songs
have.
are in my head.
They have influenced people, but they've sold, as Scott McLean pointed out, they've sold a lot of albums. People don't realize how much they've sold. I mean, so you got both there. You got influence, but you also got record sales.
But to
they're
go on
English.
the press, you have to be doing something that people love.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the Pixies?
I'm going to say yes, Lou.
I'm gonna say yes. Hugely
I'm going to say
influential.
yes, too. Yeah.
I say
I know a lot of
hugely.
people that just talk about them
Yeah.
like they started this. And yeah.
In,
I don't
the
wanna
Boston-
hear
the
them. I don't
Boston
wanna hear
area
them
or
now.
something, right?
Yeah. That's a band I don't want to listen to anymore. We're here, but I do think they should be in.
Sometimes they're like Dave Matthews to me. It's everything's disjointed and it makes
Yeah.
me feel weird and
Little-
jittery.
Herky
Yeah.
jerky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. How about this one? Procol Harum.
Yes.
Oh boy, really?
Gary Brooker.
Gary
Yeah.
Brooker.
Well, but they could be looking at as like two hits, right? Lighter shade of pale and
Conquistador.
What was the other one?
Conquistador.
Conquistador. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing because any oldie station you will hear Whiter Shade of Pale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Robbie Robertson thought they were kind of ripping off the band sound with the keyboard.
I remember you,
Can't believe
you
you said
saying that
that.
one time.
Yeah,
but,
that was a
were
pretty-
they like a 45 band or were like, I
Yeah.
can't remember any Procol Harum albums, but I do remember seeing the 45s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, my brother had the albums, and you try to separate yourself from history.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. I think they should be in. Like I said, they're in that category, maybe, or
Yeah. What is that category, by the way?
weird like English rock bands that are
See,
kind
they
of.
need more categories. You're absolutely right. They need
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
It's rock and roll.
I'm gonna say yes, but with a stipulation. Like I don't think. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears in. I'm trying to think of like a
I don't
parallel.
know.
That's a different thing. Yeah. That's a question mark. I don't know. They need a category. That's like.
Yep.
Okay. How about Queen Latifah?
You know
I'm sorry. No. Yeah.
Yes, I do. I think she should be in because she's now. If you're going to induct rap artists, they have to be artists that had the spirit and the soul of rock, which she did, and influence her. She was one of the original female rappers. So absolutely. The fact that
maybe her celebrity status will put a little kibosh on it.
Maybe, yeah.
The next one's interesting. I agree about Queen Latifah. The Replacements.
You know what? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't
you
think
know,
so either.
press aside.
Unfulfilled. Yeah.
Press aside.
Yeah.
Self-sabotage.
You think
Right?
so? Yeah, absolutely.
And
2 barrels at each foot. Yeah.
yeah.
And
You know what, Lou? I'm going to say no.
I say no.
I say no.
Yeah. Oh wow, that is interesting. That's the most interesting one of the night.
You surprised me, and I surprised you. Right?
Yeah, I was like, I'm like influence, but I'm not the biggest fan of that band. And in retrospect, I understand. With someone did a remix of is it Let It Be? I think they have a remix of Let It Be.
I think it was Chris Lord Alge who did the big hit that they had. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so I'd like to hear that, but. Yeah, unfortunately, no. And I also think it just unfulfilled promise. Like that band could have been the band that would have got the shoe in.
Enigma. Yeah.
They just what they needed to do was, but the thing was the band was too jinxed, and a lot of it's to do with the drummer. I'm sorry. I don't know.
One trick pony.
Boom crack. How about the Runaways?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I know. I know the story behind them. Were they really?
Novelty. To me,
did they write their song?
Cherry, but they're an opening act. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they were run by a male manager who dictated everything they did.
Kim Fowley.
Right.
Kim Fowley.
But they also produced Lita Ford and Joan Jett. So if it wasn't for like the judges may say, well, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a Joan Jett or a Lita Ford.
Right.
So, but they only had a couple albums.
Yeah, but even both of them are like novelties. To me, Lita Ford is like a novelty in the metal category, and Joan Jett is almost a novelty in the
I disagree about
category.
Joan Jett. I think Joan Jett's legit.
I think Joan Jett was the most talented out of all of them.
Dude, don't you think though that they were like the first hard rock all girl group, right? That could be a reason for them to get in. Like there was no all female hard rock groups before the Runaways. So that kind of gives them a point, but at the end of the day, if they don't get in, I wouldn't say that's crime. That's a crime.
So you're saying they're a hard rock band? They're a hard rock band. The Runaways.
They were a harder rock. They weren't some pop group. They were not bubblegum.
Okay, Well, I'm going to vote no on the Runaways.
I am too.
Yeah. Me too. I'm torn, but I think I'm going to say no.
It's almost like like a special place category.
I hate it. It's not funny. It's out.
It's out. How about Sade? I say no.
She's been doing the same album for 30 years now.
But in the UK, I'm sure she's in Hall of Fames and all over Europe and in the UK.
Yeah, they'll feel like
Tom Spallone. Tom Spallone, this is for you. No.
In this country,
and Scott McLean too.
No.
and Scott. How about Susie and the Banshees? Yes.
I would say, Mark.
Yes, I say yes.
I say yes also.
I know a lot of people that found her very influential.
And very influential. Yeah. Yep.
How about Smashing Pumpkins? I don't like them. I like aspects.
No.
I know, but
I'm saying no too, Mark.
I'm saying that they're going to get in.
They're gonna. But you know what?
Perry, Perry's right. I think they're going to get in, but I don't. To me,
do you see tons of bands that say we were influenced by the Smashing Pumpkins? No, I don't.
But what are they? Dirge rock? Well,
No,
I don't know
it's
where they fall.
90s alternative.
90s alternative rock.
You used to call them an alternative arena rock band.
Did I really?
That's
You
good.
did.
That's a very good description.
It's a very good description.
Well, that's a good point. I forgot all about that. But
world
yeah, they
is
kind
a
of fall to
vampire.
that category. Yeah,
Yeah.
they sell big.
Well, just like my earlier, I think our earlier alternative bands, they weren't big bands. Like Pearl Jam always had that big sound.
Yeah,
Pearl Jam always had a huge
Soundgarden.
sound.
Soundgarden too. To me, they weren't so much alternative rock bands.
Yeah.
They were like new classic rock bands.
Yeah, yep.
Well, Soundgarden now, the albums before they used to be on SST Records. If you ever listen to that stuff, they're very alternative. They're nothing like the band that you heard. They were not heavy at all. They were heavy, but not in that same way. None of the Black Sabbath influence was with them on those SST records, so they totally changed.
Yep.
Okay, how about the Smiths?
Yes.
Oh, I thought they were
think
in.
yes. I think yes.
I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, how about Soundgarden?
I think yes also.
I say yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. How about Sparks? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We know Susanna Hoffs loves them, right?
You know what? Not a fan, but I'll tell you what. A lot of people talk about Sparks, so I think for influence,
do.
yes,
They were
yes.
the little.
do.
Every magazine is like Sparks, 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 and I've heard a lot of their songs, and they're like they are quirky. They are really quirky.
I think it's also like if not for them, other bands wouldn't have happened.
I agree. They're one of those bands like people who buy their records started bands. Yeah.
How about this one? Stone Temple Pilots.
I'm gonna say no. You know why? Don't hate them, but they came out sounding like Pearl Jam, and I don't know if they added anything onto the '90s. They were not the pioneers. Pearl Jam and Mother Love Bone, all those bands. They were the pioneers of that sound. So I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no.
I do remember reading. They're from L.A. also. They weren't from Seattle, right?
Not bad songwriters. They wrote some
I
really
think they were
good songs.
I think the bass player and the guitar player are brothers.
Yes,
I think they might be from New Jersey.
But I do remember them having that tag where like they were getting badgered
Pearl
about
Jam?
sounding like Pearl Jam and Nirvana or whoever else from up there.
It was
Yeah,
Pearl
they
Jam.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what they
So,
did right, there were some very catchy
They
hit
had
singles,
some
though.
really good numbers.
Interstate
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
Song was one of the biggest songs of that. Yeah,
I like their music, but like I said, Mark, I agree. Like
yeah,
they're almost like they were like a hit machine, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Yep.
got a few of their albums. I love them, but I just
Yeah.
don't see them being.
All three of us
No.
say no.
Yeah.
Niet.
Okay,
Oh, guess what? Brothers that were in a band. I wonder if they fought. Ooh.
you didn't hear much about that. The bass
Wow.
player wrote. The bass player
I
was a
think Milk Crates
songwriter.
and Turntables covered that a while back with siblings in a band.
Yeah. I could tell you about that myself.
Yeah.
How about this one? Thin Lizzy. Yes.
Wow.
I think
Yes.
that should be in.
They
vote
influenced a lot of people.
Yep. Long lasting too. Still
Mm-hmm.
to this day.
Yeah.
And if that chick don't want to know, forget her. Here, this one was a shocker to me. They're not in. Three Dog Night. What the fuck?
Wow.
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 WTF? OMG, man.
Yeah,
What's
man.
going on?
IDK.
You can't say WTF. It's copywritten, Perry. WTF is copywritten. Don't say
WTF,
WTF.
That'd be public. domain at this point.
OMMFG.
Yeah. Tres. How do you say dog in Spanish? Tres pero noche
Oh,
Perfect.
boy.
are not in. I was shocked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Put 'em
Shame.
in.
No,
And
that's an
they
insult.
They were a band too. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
That was actually a
They
band.
had a really good band. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that was a touring recording band, and
Oh,
wasn't
boy, man.
wasn't the three guys' names like McGuinn, Clark, and Hillman.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this one? Tommy James and the Shondells.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
put them in.
Yeah.
Why aren't they in? That's
They
suspicious.
didn't have enough hits.
Yeah, they didn't have enough. They didn't have enough very like influential, and to this day, what's it? Crystal Blue Persuasion is one of my favorite songs.
Crystal Blue Persuasion is one of the greatest songs ever out there.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
I wonder
Yeah.
who produced that because that is an amazing.
I
That
think
song
Tommy James
still
was the producer.
was he really? Holy
Yeah,
shit!
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I wonder who engineered
Yeah.
it. Or but in that song, when you hear that song now, everything sounds great. You hear every instrument perfectly. The mixing.
Mars Levy produced it.
at gunpoint.
I mean, Hesh
No, I
wrote-
think it was Tommy James. I think was the producer.
What is this, Shondell? Anyway, how about this one? Toots and the Maytals, or is it Toots or Hey Toots? Hey Toots. Hey Toots, I
Well,
want a cup of coffee.
that's a New Orleans thing, right?
I don't know. I thought they were
All right.
reggae. No, is it kind of? Is it Zydeco? That's not Zydeco.
I don't know.
No, I honestly don't know. That's questionable to me.
They're famous though. I've been hearing about them and reading about them forever.
I'm drawing a blank because I know I've heard them, but are they New Orleans?
Yeah, I think
Is
Mark's
looking?
looking it up now for some reason.
Well, I was looking
yeah.
up the producer of Crystal Blues Persuasion.
Oh,
It was Tommy James and
Tommy
Richie Cordell.
Richie
Cordell.
Cordell. There's another name. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who were Toots and the Maytals? Pressure drop. Orlando. Isn't that them?
Yeah.
They had
should-
did that
No, not-
Monkey Man. I don't want to be a I don't want to be a monkey man.
We're doing New Orleans next week, right?
Well, we
Got
might.
homework to do.
I don't know if there's enough time to
Gotcha.
get it all
The
ready.
Maytals.
but-
We should do that. Yeah.
the Maytals Toots were, as I suspected, Jamaican because
Yeah,
Pressure
yeah.
Drop is a big Jamaican song.
Yeah.
Covered by
Pressure
many
Drop
people.
is a big number. Yeah. Yep.
I say
Robert
put him
Palmer
in.
covered that.
He did. I say put him
Yeah.
in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, here's one interesting. Tori Amos.
No.
I'm going to say yes.
I'm not sure.
She opened up a whole genre of that. What she did. There's
Lilith Fair.
going up to Billie.
Right?
No, I'm looking at Billie Eilish. There may not be a Billie Eilish without Tori Amos. I'm just saying she opened up the windows for those female artists that wouldn't get a hearing any other way. You know?
Fiona Apple, for example.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to say put her in.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Or we got one. We got 2 yes, 1 no, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're
No,
winding down the
no on
alphabet.
Tori Amos.
Okay. How about War? I say yes.
I say
War.
yes.
War.
I say
Low
yes.
Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, the facts. Who sang
Spill
for
the
him?
wine. What's that?
What's his name? What's his name was in
Eric
there
Burden.
singing? Yeah.
Well, I think there was just one record where Eric Burden and War, but
he-
War on their own had the
Yeah,
Cisco Kid
Yeah.
was a
And then they
friend
got-
of mine, right?
And then they got
Summer.
Eric Burden, which makes you royalty. I mean, definitely.
Life is a ghetto.
Yeah.
Life is a highway. Oh, sorry.
How about this insult? Warren Zevon. No brainer.
Somebody's
Yeah.
kicked Jan Winter's ass.
Someone's
Well,
breaking
I
a
think
foot
Warren
off in his ass.
Zevon. I will say this: Warren Zevon pisses off record executives. So
Good.
he's like he was never in. You know what I mean? This is why I don't care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No,
I don't give a
it's not,
shit.
It's not
you
about
know?
conformity. Rock and roll was never about conformity. It was about
Right,
being rebellious.
exactly.
It was going against the grain, and now it's
Yeah.
But one of the last interviews he did, where he was being interviewed days before he died by an author from Rolling Stone magazine. So it was I don't know who it was. It was David. It wasn't David Frick. It was someone else who from Rolling Stone magazine, and they're walking. He's got his arm around him because Zevon was on he was on morphine, so he could barely
and
walk.
Warren Zevon was a favorite of Rolling Stone magazine. They
Yeah,
always
yeah,
gave him big
absolutely, yeah.
reviews, but
Yeah.
as far as the
But-
business side, he didn't make those guys happy. You know.
So,
But,
so that's why he's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I
I
don't
mean,
know,
all the people
but-
who have covered Warren Zevon songs, right?
Yeah. He should have been in when he was alive, when he was still making records.
Maybe
Yeah.
Katy Perry couldn't read his name.
War and Zebra?
What are you talking about?
War and Zebra? What's War and Zebra?
I have no idea.
I've been wasting my time.
Oops.
Oh.
Well, I think
Okay.
you're at the Z's, right? Warren Zevon.
Yeah, we're getting there. Well, that was W, actually. How about Weezer? Weezer are hugely influential. They do Weezer
yeah.
cruises.
They should
I'm
just
not
have an,
crazy about them, but
they
they
should have
be
an
in.
MTV category. Just,
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were a good band. They were unusual. They sold a shit ton of records, but I mean they have a huge following. I
That's
would
true.
vote to put them in.
Yep.
How about Weird Al Yankovic? I say no.
Novelty.
It's too novelty.
Yeah.
It's too novelty.
You know, I'm going to say this. I've heard people that work with him, and they say he's immensely talented,
Yeah.
but your whole career is off
Shit.
redoing songs, existing songs. No.
Yeah. Yep.
And he was body shaming. Okay.
What the hell is body shaming?
Oh, when he did "Cause I'm fat, I'm fat."
Oh.
All right, so he's out. White Stripes. I say no.
White
Not
Stripes?
enough.
I just never liked
no.
them. I don't.
No.
I don't hate him, but I don't think they did enough to be warranted.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah. But White, what's his name will be in? Jack White will get in
Jack White.
somehow.
Yeah.
One day.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about this one? Wilco.
Yes. Unabashedly, yes. Not because I'm a fan, but
Yeah.
they have influenced a
think
lot
so.
of people, and the breadth of their work, the body
Yes.
of their work. Yeah.
Well, their
And even-
first album came out in '95. So how many years ago was that? It's not 25 years, is it? 2005, 2015. It's supposed to be 25 years, right?
Yes. 95 to 2015.
No,
so
they're
2 years.
eligible.
Yeah, they're
25
eligible.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2000
25
they were
years.
eligible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they'll be getting in. They'll
I
be
say-
getting in.
I say put 'em in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And not only that, also because of going back to Uncle Tupelo.
Mhm.
You know, they coined the term
Yeah.
for depression.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a band I know nothing about, but Wu-Tang Clan.
I think so.
I'm
think
going to have to
didn't-
say yes. Yeah.
I didn't. I liked him, and I don't really think that I didn't think of him as legendary. But Scott McLean showed me how influential they were on hip hop. I don't see
Yeah.
the influence on the hip hop world.
I saw a
And what he said-
documentary on the band, and they are
Yeah.
influential. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And again, they embody the spirit of rock and roll. They weren't just that,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I'll agree with you. I'll go with you. And finally, English band, the great English band, XTC.
Yes.
Yes.
Put them
Yes.
in.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs
And
up.
if someone
Really?
says, "Well, what did they do?" Just say Andy Partridge. That's all you got to say, motherfucker.
Well,
Andy
Andy
Partridge.
Partridge pisses people off. So yeah.
Go,
Hey, Lou.
yeah.
Lou, wait,
Yeah.
where's the Z? Zebra. They got to be in. Come on.
Yeah, they
Oh,
didn't, they
man.
didn't do a zebra. On the
Sells some records.
the Mark Smith special category.
Hey, all of
What-
Long
what's
Island.
his name? What's his
and
name?
all of-
Slobbit McKinney? What's up with, what is it?
I'm Slowbolt, Slowbolt McKinney. All of New Orleans and all of Long Island want Zebra to be in. That does it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the whole world.
Well, that was a good Rock and Roll Hall of Fame segment.
Yeah, that was
really
like
good.
an hour-long conversation on the
Yeah,
R&RHOF.
really.
Yeah.
Let me see if
Before
I just,
you're,
let's see if a few more names. Just give me a second.
yeah,
Jerry Wexler was on the nominating committee at one point. Robert
Yeah,
Emerson,
yep.
many years. Paul
Yep.
Schaefer, yeah.
yeah, David
Who the hell is Bill Flanagan? He's another critic, right?
I don't know.
Flanagan began again.
Yeah.
Common
How
name.
about
That's like
Lenny
that's
Kaye?
like naming yourself Mark Smith. That's an AKA. You know, that's an alias.
How about, Lenny Kaye.
I've heard of him.
Lenny
Was
Kaye.
it- was it-
I don't know. Patty Smith got in.
Patty
I don't know
Smith.
about Lenny Kaye.
Well,
you know?
no. I mean, these were guys who were on the nominating committee. So
Oh,
Lenny
Lenny-
Kaye,
okay,
David Fricke, and then there was David Fracke, actually.
Yep.
I
Questlove,
like him being on
Tom Morello, Dave Grohl, Linda Perry.
Yeah.
I mentioned those. Yes, I think that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A very dubious outfit.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, listen.
Hey, what?
Your friendly host here might pour a second wine. So before we do it, do we want to have a little musical interlude to break up the show?
Really?
Musical interlude? Like,
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
what?
I don't know. I heard there's some kind of dirge in the wind with a hookah machine and the Sahara. And,
Interesting.
yeah, I've heard somebody has a really nice
I do
instrument. that
not know what you're talking about. I do not know.
Somebody bought a new guitar.
That is beautiful.
I love wood instruments.
Well, let me see if I can get
Hope
something
you don't
playing
mind.
here. Let me adjust my microphone. Let's see. Hold on.
This is the end.
Raga, mama, raga.
That was the first musical relish musical interlude. Good. Lou, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Lou with that. Yeah.
This was the opening set of the concert for Bangladesh.
it's my Middle Eastern dulcimer.
That was really good.
That was a raga.
Raga. All right. Hey, Perry.
This is a show with not just
Yes.
a podcast. It is a show.
Right. We
Hey,
perform.
what? Hey, what?
Do you have any musical relative? Do you have any musical
relatives?
relatives?
I'm looking at my two musical relatives.
Do you have any music relish? Like back in the day, some little archive clips.
You mean like
from,
something from the archives?
from the Misty Mountain days back when we were, young and we were.
Got a lot of stuff. I got a couple of them here. Let's do
I
one.
love these clips.
Let's see what happens here.
Is Martin
Okay.
Scorsese in this clip?
Oh boy.
Hey, Mark, just waiting for Lou.
You got it.
You got it.
How's the parade?
I watched it from my third floor window. Didn't go near it.
Sniper.
All right, Lou said he's going to play some areas. Go, Lou. Way to go, Lou.
Thank you. Well,
Well, this is the Music Relish podcast.
Yes, it is.
My name is Perry Bolshevik. And we have, who do we have here?
My name is Lou Mussolini.
And who else do we have?
you got Schmitty here on Pearl River.
Actually, what's your real name, Mr. Perry?
My real name is Perry. Yes.
My real name is Lou Calicchio.
My name is Mark Smith, and that is really my name.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Sure it is.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
How was the
Same to
parade?
you. I watched it from my third floor music room because I have a wonderful view of downtown Pearl River, and it looked great from my room. I didn't dare go near it. I drink, but a lot of weird drinking going on. You know what I mean?
Oh, hey, man.
Sat on my
You're
porch.
like a sniper up there.
Yeah, I sat on my porch, didn't touch alcohol all day, wanted to be the only sober person in town. It was fun. Now I'm making up for it.
Wow.
Damn, I was loud. Damn it.
That was on the phones.
Those are on the phones. Those are from the archives. Yeah.
So that had to be March 17th.
I do
St.
not
Patty's Day.
enjoy being in a huge crowd where I know
No.
that everybody is drunk because something bad could happen. And I get,
Mm-hmm.
as much as I like to imbibe, and I do, I get very nervous around people when I think they're
Mhm.
going to lose control. You
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
I find it
And-
interesting though. Like before Lou came on, the first thing I said to you was, "How was the parade?" Lou comes on, he says, "How was the parade?" Like, yeah, we're your friends. You know?
Yeah,
I
that's
also
right.
know you live in Pearl River, New York, which is has
Yeah.
the biggest St. Patty's Day parade outside of New York, doesn't it? New York
Yeah,
City.
that's right. That's right.
Yep.
Second
So
largest.
don't
It's
make
bigger
fun
than
of the
Boston.
Irish.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a couple more I can play later on whenever you want to.
Sure. Hey, Perry, do you got any random relish you want to share with us?
I absolutely do.
Wait, Lou was going to say something. Hold on.
I
one
was
second.
playing my
Oh.
guitar into the telephone.
That sounded good.
It sounded better than.
Yeah,
I was-
yeah.
At first, I thought that wasn't from our new format, you know. But anyway,
Oh
so,
no, that was from the old the original 30,
yeah, Up in-
as they may
okay.
be called.
The 1930s.
the soup can years.
But I do have some
Oh.
random subjects.
Yeah, what you got?
Well, interesting. These are little things that I think are like points of interest to me. But
Lay it on us.
remember hearing about the Bird Sweetheart of the Rodeo, Graham Parsons, and there was a video for what was the Mr. Spaceman? There was a promo film and Graham Parsons was in it. He may have just joined the band, but he
Birds.
wasn't on the record. Graham Parsons was in the Birds for 5 months. That's it.
That was it.
But he made a great
5
album
months.
with him.
Yeah.
He was in the Birds for 5 months,
Wow.
but he was there for Sweetheart of the Rodeo. Yeah,
Yeah.
Some
that was
bands,
his
some
tenure in
bands,
the Birds. 5 months.
some bands rehearse 3 songs for 5 months and get them done. So what he
Yep.
did in that? How long did it take him to record "Sweetheart of the Rodeo"?
I don't know. Probably,
long.
I don't know, weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a month,
yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Damn. 5
But
months.
another
No.
interesting thing. Go ahead, Lou.
Is it true that didn't Roger McGuinn go over some of his vocals on that record?
They did because
They did.
he was still under contract to Lee Hazelwood, who he's a famous
Yeah,
sort of country entrepreneur, country
Did he
music.
work with Nancy Sinatra?
He probably did, but
Okay.
he had the publishing contract or some contract the International Submarine Band had signed with his company.
Mhm.
And when Roger McGuinn found out that that he was still signed, to Lee Hazelwood, he got panicky, didn't want lawsuits, so they kind of, even though Graham wrote a couple of those songs, they kind of just took his vocal out and put Chris and Roger, the Birds 3-part harmony over
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And another interesting thing, I remember how
Also,
you were telling me.
Graham had a birthday a couple days ago.
But remember telling me how
wow.
Gene Clark used to did not like to fly, and really had like a breakdown, right? Because of the touring. Well, oddly enough, Roger McGuinn has kind of become like a Gene Clark.
You know what? He won't fly.
He won't fly. If he has to go to Europe for something, he takes the ship. Takes
Really?
a boat.
Wow.
Yeah. And he travels with his wife to dates in the U.S. on
Mhm.
Their Winnebago or their bus or whatever it may be. But he's kind of like, he used to give Gene Clark shit about it, but now he's kind of become that, right?
Yeah. Well, he said to Gene Clark on the plane, he goes, "Wait, if you aren't going to fly, you can't be a bird."
Something to that effect. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. And now he absolutely is that.
Now, there's
Yeah.
something about being on a ship in the middle of the ocean, like the Atlantic.
Nowhere to
to me,
go.
I don't know. I'd rather just get it over with.
Well,
I don't want.
yeah, but I don't think they go through like where the iceberg field might
No,
be anymore.
even still, just being on a boat for that, I don't know. My
Yeah,
first
yeah.
airplane ride was going over into England from New York.
Oh,
to
wow.
England. was like,
I get
yeah.
it. I used to fly when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, getting to an airport sucks. Going through everything, people have short tempers. There's a lot of people going
Yeah.
crazy on the planes, and I've developed a healthy dose of claustrophobia, very healthy. And I've
Yeah.
kind of got wide hips, and I'm tall, so they've shrunk where you sit. And when I feel the armrest on each side of me on my hips, and I got like everything's like I don't like it. And when they pressurize the cabin, your ears pop and all that. And if somebody were to go crazy on a plane, like you see these, I don't know what I'd do because you can't escape them. At least if somebody goes crazy on a ship, you
Yeah.
can run to your room.
Throw 'em
Well, do you
overboard.
know that Tracy Chapman? Tracy Chapman was just awarded Song of the Year at the CMA, the Country Music Association Music
Really?
Awards. Tracy Chapman,
Wow.
because someone named Luke Combs
Okay.
covered Fast Car, and it's like
Yeah.
the
Wow.
#1 country hit that's
heard
out
that.
there right
Yeah,
now. Yeah. Yep.
He's kind of he's a newer countryist guy, but
He's the new country. Yeah. Yep.
But he keeps a little
I don't think
tradition,
he's
right?
new country is like some of these other new. I might be wrong. Other new country. He might be
Yeah.
not quite so Coors Light than that. I think.
Right. I think
Yeah,
that
yep.
too. Yeah.
I said Coors Light. You know what I mean?
Gulf and Western.
Gulf and West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were talking about. Remember, we were talking the other week on Halloween about like scary clowns and shit.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
I found a picture, Mark. I found a picture on the internet of a scary friggin' clown, and he looks like somebody we know. It's uncanny. Wow, look at this. I'm not kidding. Watch. Look at this.
Oh yeah.
Who
It's
the
our
hell
buddy.
does that look like?
It's our buddy.
It's Ebola.
I'm gonna get a picture of that.
That's Ebola. Look at this. Watch, look.
Oh my!
That's some creepy shit right there. That is some creepy shit.
Oh my! Oh my God!
Wait. Watch.
Holy
It gets
shit.
better. It
Took
gets
him to
better.
McDonald's because he looked hungry. So I fed him. I fed him till he got plumper. Then I took him out back in the dumpster and gutted him and ate the burger.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Ebola. What's your name?
He is. He's calling,
He's a
man.
sick son of a bitch.
What did I say at the top of the show? Scott says a lot of
That-
stuff,
that-
but he's got to pass on that. He can say whatever the
That's
hell he wants.
Ebola the clown.
He's available for parties.
That's a great name for
It's
clown,
like
by the way.
He should have a creepy TV show. Ebola the clown.
He should have been on Shakes the Clown, man. You
Scares
kidding?
everybody.
He should have been the
Move
new
over.
host of that show.
Move over, Sven Gulli. We got Ebola the clown.
What the
He
hell was that on
hungry,
top of his
so I
head?
fed him. Then I gutted him.
Hit the burger. Oh my God! Okay,
Yeah. Yep.
that was
Oh,
unexpected.
Yeah.
Well, that was in my random.
Hey,
That was in my random
I'm-
subject.
I'm gonna be right. I'm gonna be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You'll be back because you're up next, buddy.
I have to call
You're up
somebody.
next.
You know,
You're
but
up next.
I sometimes watch documentaries on these recording studios.
I love
And-
them.
They all want this vintage tube compressors.
Yeah.
You know, what are they? Fairchilds or
Fairchild. I worked with a Fairchild limiter. Oh, that thing was sweet.
I mean, wow. This
Just
is
to
what
show
all
you
of these
how-
studios want.
Yeah, but you know what? Just to tell you how good a Fairlight limiter, Fairchild.
Yeah.
When you master classical,
Yeah.
any idea of compression is a death knell. You do not compress classical, but you have to for cassette. The Fairchild was the only compressor that we could get away with it. And that thing made my studio hot in the summer. It had tubes. Oh, that thing was beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and the British call them valves, right? But they're tubes. Yep.
Those.
Yeah. Yep.
They also call
Yeah.
potato
So
chips.
I've got some trivia, and whenever you want to do it, and I've got the thing on the company with the album covers, Hypnosis.
Well, you know what? I'm going to bring.
I got a
one thing-
Ringo thing. I got a Ringo thing too.
I'm going to bring something up while Lou gets back really quick because it's just so brief. It's just worth saying. I think the record industry screwed up again. They underestimated people's wanting of physical media. Now, you know how important that is to me, right?
Yeah,
No
yeah.
downloads. Just so it seems that, and I don't have any hard, fast facts on this, but it looks like nobody can get a hold of the new Rolling Stones CD because the record company didn't think as many people would want it. First of all, it's a great CD and it's selling like crazy.
I did hear a few songs. Yeah.
Yeah. But you can't get it. Like from what I hear, like the stores are all sold out because, these record companies, they want us to just
Stones,
download everything, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then, if we don't want you to have that anymore, we'll take it off the streaming service, you know?
I have a theory.
So,
because of, it's hard to find new cars. It's hard to buy a new car. Older cars are hard to find. They'll have like cassette players and CD players in them. So the stuff's all going to come back now, based upon supply and demand shortage. I'm feeling kind of disturbed after seeing that clown video. Okay, I'm
Did
not,
you pee your
I'm not
pants
well.
again?
I won't be doing milk crates and turntables anymore. I'm going to call Scott and say I can't do it.
Of all the stuff he said to us, that disturbed you. Of all the stuff. We've been to the equivalent of Marine boot camp with the guy, and that disturbed you.
Right? And I can't wait to talk to him about this. I'm like, wow. No, I guess Perry took that off his Facebook or YouTube. Is there a whole YouTube channel?
I was watching it. I was watching it, and I said that if a little kid saw that he doesn't, of course, advertise little kids, but that would, if I was like 5, that would freak
That would
me
scare
out.
the shit. Well,
The way he
I
just
told
goes into
All
the
right,
camera.
guys, went to the fridge.
I told you guys about Hambone, didn't I?
I think so.
Did I ever show you Hambone?
Is that a blues artist, Hambone?
Well, kind of originally.
Before he died and came back to life.
Sandy Becker, Hambone.
I love Killer Clowns.
Okay. Now, this is the reason why I'm a mess.
We always say so.
Oh, stop.
So when did he come out? Back in the 70s?
No, this was the early 60s.
Oh, wow. There was a creepy clown back then?
It wasn't quite a clown. It wasn't quite Bozo. No, it was much worse. Oh, come on. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yes, I've seen that.
Can't get a good visual on it.
That would freak me out.
Yeah, he had these googly eyes. I'm not getting a good visual on that.
What was he on? Like a major
It
TV
was a children's
Saturday
show.
morning?
It was called the Sandy Becker Show. It was like on Channel 5 out of New York. But it was a kid's show, and he was supposed to be this entertaining guy, but he had these like binoculars taped to his head, these giant googly glasses, and he had this. It was like Freddie and the Dreamers, like on acid. It was just worse. And every time I used to hear that music, it was like the Bo Diddley beat. I'd start getting agitated. So one of my sisters, because older sisters can be cruel, they pinned me to a chair and like they basically made my eyes open, so I had to look at this thing. I was just flipping out.
Sounds like my sisters.
Yeah. Like putting doll heads on sticks,
Okay, Lou, I know how to dress next Halloween for the show.
Please don't.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Be a clown. Be
Hey,
a
Lou,
clown.
Do you have any trivia? I love
do.
trivia.
I got some trivia. I got some questions, like trivia questions.
Okay.
Cool.
So, did you guys know that Marvin Gaye Jr., he was murdered by his father, Marvin Gaye Sr.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that in Marvin Gaye's appearance on the Midnight Special show in 1974, remember the Midnight Special? Marvin Gaye Sr., was a Pentecostal minister, attended the show in drag, in a woman's clothing and wig.
Really?
Yeah, so apparently Marvin Gaye Sr. was a cross-dresser. He was a very abusive father.
Wow.
He would
Yeah,
he would go to Marvin's gigs and dress as a woman and wig him out.
Wow.
I was going to say, well, I never knew that,
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have
That's
a question
freaky.
here. This is a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame question. Who is the only woman to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice?
Wow.
As a solo and as a band, obviously.
I have an idea.
Go for it.
What's your idea?
Would it be like soloing with a band?
Yes.
I'm going to say Stevie Nicks.
You are correct.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to agree with Mark.
I should multiple questions. Okay. Now this is a quote, a rock and roll quote about rock and roll from the chairman of the board. His initial quote about rock and roll, he called it a rancid-smelling aphrodisiac played by cretinous goons.
Wow.
Now Frank knew a thing or two about goons.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question here. So on the Beatles song "A Day in the Life" of Sgt. Pepper, that last chord,
Mm-hmm.
the very last thing. Dun. Okay, how many pianos were played at that end of that song? It's a simultaneous thing that there was.
Yeah.
These pianos. How many pianos were played at the end of "A Day in the Life," and by how many people simultaneously?
I think I read about a dozen.
Well, there were 10 hands on it. but how many pianos were actually played at that same night? And
For some reason, my mind is giving me the image of 8. I'm just going to say 8. I'm probably wrong.
8 pianos.
Yeah.
Okay, Perry.
10 pianos.
3 pianos.
Wow.
Oh, they were hitting the high C
Yeah.
or the high, and then the middle
Yeah.
and the low.
I believe it's an E major chord. I think it's 8.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there were 3 pianos. There's 10 hands, but there were 5 people. Who were the 5 people playing the piano simultaneously? 5 people.
Well, John, Paul, George, and Ringo.
John, Paul, Ringo.
Yeah.
George
That's
Martin.
3 of the 5. There's a George, but it's not Harrison.
Mal Evans.
Wait, Mal Evans, and who's
Yep.
the other George? It wasn't Harrison.
Martin.
George Martin.
George Martin.
Right.
So because
it's-
there's how many octaves are on an 88 key piano, right? So there's so you can
Right.
play the chord here, you can play the chord here, you can play the chord. Yeah, cool.
Yep. So each one had their 2 hands, or each musician had 2 hands, but
Right. Yep.
And what else has Mal Evans played
With
on?
the sustain pedal down, obviously.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the endless chord.
Mel, is it Mel or Mal?
Mal,
Mal,
like
M-A-L.
Oh, okay.
Malcolm.
I was thinking Mel Evans, the saxophonist.
He's turned up on a few Beatles songs playing little incidental instruments, but do you know
Yeah.
one big thing that he did?
Maxwell Silverhammer.
You are correct, sir.
He
He's
played
playing
the
the
anvil.
He's the anvil guy.
And he signed
smart.
Badfinger to Apple Records and
Right.
produced their first record, right?
What were they called before he signed them? What was the name of the
The
band?
Ivies.
You are correct, sir.
Ebony and Ivies.
Yeah, but... Okay, Mark, you may know this one since I think you're a fan of this guy. How many pickup positions does the guitar player Steve Morse of the Dixie Dregs and Kansas, right?
Yeah.
How many pickup positions? This is multiple choice. How many pickup positions does his guitar have? Is it A3, B11, C5, or D7?
Well, if it's any more than 3 or 5, it's a custom guitar.
Well, he is have a custom guitar, and he also,
Yeah.
I think, has buttons. So I'm going to go out on a limb on this one and say 11.
Perry.
What are the options now? 3, 5.
311, 5, and 7.
I think it has a 7th position switch.
Mark is correct. He has 11. Has Spinal Tap.
Wow.
I've seen him play. He's got the buttons and everything.
How
Yeah.
big is that thing? It's like a lever. Just
You know something? He was in Deep Purple longer than Richie Blackmore.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in
He's
Deep
been there
Purple
for a
too,
long time. Yeah.
Wow.
But
Okay.
I guess it's like those Fender Jazz Masters, with all the buttons and stuff, like why
Yeah.
are there 8
Yeah,
buttons
right.
on there? So
Oh, there's the little switches with the little groovy
Yep,
thing you
yep.
come and get on. Okay, who is Freebird dedicated to? It's a musician, Southern musician, big time.
I mean, Leonard Skinner dedicated this song
to
to
an individual. No,
Leon Russell. Leon Russell.
No, but you are close.
Oh.
In that same vein realm, they probably did sessions together. But he was also a member of a very amazing band. Maybe I'm gonna give away that.
Terry Kath.
No.
Wow.
Freebird came out in '73, I think, before Terry Kath died.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it had to be someone who died.
I know it.
Yeah, Southern rock. I mean, more than Southern rock, but
Lowell George.
No.
Wow.
He was still alive then.
He's known
Give it
for
up, Luke.
He is. Let's see. He died. He died young. There was some contention about.
Oh,
the spot.
I'm going to get it. Dwayne Allman.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Freebird is dedicated to. Wow. I
Yeah.
should have known that. Yeah.
My final
Let
question
me
is.
smack myself in the head. Stupid.
Stupendado.
Stona, my final question. When you've seen Cheap Trick, when Rick Nielsen's on stage with his multi-necked guitar, how many necks are on that guitar?
6.
It's not multiple choice. It's just a one guess. Perry says 6.
He has a 6-neck guitar. Yeah.
10.
No, it's 5. It's 5 necks. 5
I'm
necks.
going with 10.
It's 5.
It's 5. It's 5.
It is 5. Okay. Rick does everything over the top. I was
I've
thinking
seen that thing.
You've seen that guitar. It's like this wide.
Yeah.
He does look in pain when he's playing it. He's kind of like,
And I have a mention of that on the archive clip too. That's that we'll play later on. Yep.
Oh, cool. He was also inducted. Cheap Trick, I think they got in 2016, the same year Steve Miller did. When Steve Miller basically tore the Hall of Fame a new asshole for charging $10,000 a person.
Yeah. Yep.
After all your years of dedication to music and playing and touring and recording, and, you have to pay $10,000 for your wife.
The other band members can't even afford, and his family can't even afford to go to the show.
Yeah. And that was also before they allowed fans to sit in the upper tier. So I think it's after that they started doing that. Yeah. Which is why they probably do it back in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, because they can't do it in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They don't have the upper seats,
Well, I've got a couple trivia questions.
You know who else didn't show up for their award? Mark Knopfler.
Yeah.
Dire Straits got in. He didn't go. He didn't feel like it. John Illsley basically said he didn't feel like going. Just fuck it.
I could see Mark. He's laid back. I don't feel like going.
I've got a couple of trivia questions. This is Now you have to listen. Now I didn't know this until recently, but Rubber Soul, the great Beatles album, right? 1965. In the UK and the United States, there were no singles released from Rubber Soul. None.
Really?
Yeah.
Michelle?
But on American radio, what was the most popular song from Rubber Soul? Even though it wasn't released as a single, it's the most popular radio song from Rubber Soul on U.S. radio.
Norwegian Wood.
Drive My Car.
You just said it, Lou. You just said it before.
Michelle.
The most popular song from Rubber Soul
I would think.
on American radio, even though it was not a single. They just decided to play it.
Played it.
Yeah.
Fucking Paul.
When I was young, I didn't like that song. I thought it was ponderous. Now, it's like I got older, but when I was young, this song.
And it was covered. It was also covered by another group like a year later, and it won Song of the Year. It got a Grammy for Song of the Year in 1966 by some band that covered it. Yeah.
Really?
It's a great song.
The solo on that, what is that? It sounds like a bass guitar. I think it's George Martin playing something.
He probably sped something up or slowed it down, or right?
Wait, my two Beatles guru friends do not know what that solo is. You guys know everything. Come on.
I think I read it somewhere.
I think somebody's playing the hobo. I meant an oboe.
A hobo is not necessarily homeless. Now they're calling them the unhoused.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
If you're homeless, you're unhoused.
I can tell you that Nyack Hot Bagels makes Nyack Hot Bagels makes a great hobo sandwich. It's a great breakfast sandwich. It's fucking awesome.
Now, I have another trivia question, but this one now is questionable. So, what was the last John Lennon live performance? The last live performance by John Lennon.
Was it Madison Square Garden with Elton John?
I'm going to go with a Dick Cavett show.
Well, here's the controversy. He did Madison Square Garden with Elton John in 1974. When they had that deal where if whatever gets you through the night reaches number one, you're gonna play, and he did. But
he played with
in 1975 at the Waldorf Astoria / Hilton Hotel, there was a live television tribute to Sir Lou Grade.
Oh, that's right.
And John played, I guess his rock and roll album was out, Slipping in a Slide, Beefing in a Hat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he played Stand By Me, his version of Stand By Me, which you've all heard. And he played Imagine. But it was with a backing track, and it was for a TV show.
Oh.
So it wasn't really. And the band, by the way, the band that was backing him, they all had masks on. So they had like two-face masks. There was a face here and a face in the back. Like it was the strangest, oddest thing. You could find it on YouTube.
Okay.
I had John Lennon at the Sir Lou Grade tribute. He was singing with a backing track. So it wasn't really a live performance. So Lou, like you said, Madison Square Garden with Elton John the year before, 74, that was really a live performance.
Truly live.
Yeah.
So Sir Lou Grade, he was a
he had
it wasn't EMI. What was his
ATV?
ATV. That's right.
And they ended up buying ATV. Sony. Remember the
right? And Lennon had a falling
publishing
out
company.
with him. I think Lennon had a certain at the time of the breakup of the Beatles, there was some
There
acrimony
was,
about
and
the
then
way
of course
things
they
were.
made
Oh,
up
of course.
because he got a deal, and so that's why he was at the Lou Grade tribute
Okay.
and sang 3 songs.
They probably renegotiated after Alan Klein.
He did. He absolutely. That's absolutely what happened. Is after Alan Klein was out of the picture, they renegotiated with Lou Grade
Got some
and
money coming in.
and the publishing.
So that was
company.
75. Now
Yeah.
I'm thinking here,
But it
you
was
know,
a
in
TV
history-
show.
Yeah.
It was for TV.
In history, I'm
kind of
thinking
TV
like in
but-
certain times in our history, they go, the advancement of agriculture went ballooning in a few years. What about music? 1975, 74, and then only 5 years later, it was Double Fantasy.
Yeah.
That was like such
Yeah.
a two different worlds, but
Yeah.
so close. You know,
Oh, speaking of that, it's a good thing,
Speaking of
good
which,
thing
yeah.
we're talking about them anyway, because I found out Ringo, Ringo's Ludwig. Ludwig, that's Ringo, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I found out a thing here. I'm going to read it, and maybe somebody will read the next one. This is
I'll
from
take
the
the second.
Charlotte Observer. Drums for Ringo Starr are made in this small North Carolina town. See how they do it.
Huh.
Yep.
So it's not Ludwig, though.
Yeah. So
Tucked
here,
away.
somebody take that. Go ahead.
Mark?
tucked away past the chicken plant near the railroad tracks sits an unassuming cluster of buildings with beige aluminum siding. Step inside, you'll find the one place in the world that makes drums for Ringo Starr. Welcome to the home of Ludwig. The century-old company has made Ringo's drums since the dawn of Beatlemania. Take it, Lou.
Ludwig's are made in North Carolina.
Was the town? Is it Monroe, North Carolina?
I think it might be. Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. Where
I don't
that
know
is.
if that's the county or the. Well, let's see what happens here, Lou. Go ahead.
Ludwig also provides drums for the likes of Alex Van Halen, Questlove, who was on the nominating committee of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year,
Yeah.
and even Paul McCartney, to name just a few. And when Taylor Swift rocked Time Warner Cable Arena in June, her drummer was wailing on his Ludwig kit. Oh, cool.
The Swifties love
Swifties
love
love it.
Ludwig drums. Right?
I'm an earwig man myself.
Ludwig clients are well known, but their presence in Union County is not. Yet, for over 30 years, this iconic company's custom-made drums only come from Monroe, North Carolina. Wow.
Custom made. I'm sure the rest of the Ludwig line are probably made somewhere else. So
Yeah.
when you're Ringo Starr or whoever
Yeah,
else plays, because you don't see about Ludwig too much. I don't. In fact, I don't follow bands and see enough videos to look what's on what kind of drums are playing.
Yeah.
But so that's a custom shop. Well, funny, North Carolina, going back way back in especially before the new millennium, was known for furniture building. A lot of forest, a lot of pine forest.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Most
Most of the furniture came from North Carolina.
What's that?
Most of the furniture came from North Carolina. Yeah.
Thomasville. When we worked at Enger's Liquors, when Paul and Mary decided to go buy furniture for the new house, they drove to North Carolina to go to all the showrooms.
And an interesting thing happened.
My home state.
Lou got me a job way back in the 90s in a liquor store. Right? And
All
I
good
went
musicians have to work at a liquor store.
And-
Mark, did you ever?
No, but I worked in a laundromat. That's another prerequisite.
That's another one. Yeah. Okay.
but the
Textile
but
maintenance
there was
facility.
in the town of Westwood, there was Westwood Furniture Bank.
That's
and
right.
the trucks would come from North Carolina to deliver furniture, to come to Westwood from North Carolina to deliver furniture.
Was that the
So,
one on Kinderkamak Road?
One time on the way back, they would have extra stuff on the truck. So a guy walked into the liquor store. Guy walks in the bar and says, "Guy walked into a liquor store and he goes, we just delivered to, we have some extra stuff. Do you want a chair? You want a recliner? You want a couch? Whatever you
Holy
want." He goes,
shit.
"Give me a case of beer and I'll give you the chair."
Nice.
Wow.
So that's how it was. Give me a case of beer, I'll give you a recliner.
It's called
I know
bartering.
people.
Yep. But it was from
Right.
North Carolina. All
Yeah.
the furniture got delivered to even Westwood, New Jersey from North Carolina. Yep.
My dad did that with
Hey,
some
Perry.
TVs. One day we all had a big color TV in our bedroom. Some guy had that TV
Perry,
for
was that
30 years.
the just for personal knowledge? Was that the
Yeah.
one on Kinderkamak Road, that furniture place?
No, it was back. It was back in an
By
industrial
the
area
hospital.
back there. Yeah.
By the
Oh,
hospital.
there.
the
Okay. 'Cause
hospital. Yeah.
remember,
yeah.
there was a furniture place on Kinderkamak at Five Corners that mysteriously burned down. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But since I was talking about Ringo drums, I remember we all read these books about Jeff Emmerich and the Beatles engineer and how he decided to start changing. They wanted a different sound. Once they stopped touring, they wanted a different sound than they got. So Jeff Emmerich explains how he changed some things, and he got in a little bit of trouble for it. Let's see if this
the low
plays.
end, and John's insistence for thunderous drums led to main engineer of the record, Jeff Emmerich, to experiment with his mic placement, moving the mics right up to the drum heads, earning him an EMI reprimand for microphone abuse.
Wow.
The rulings there were the fact you weren't supposed to put the bass drum mic closer than 18 inches to the bass drum, and I took it about 4 inches away from the front.
Whoa.
And someone sort of snitched on me, and so the next day I was in trouble. And there was a sort of meeting with management, and they, in fact, in the end, I got a letter giving me permission to be able to do that on Beatles sessions. And
They told him
You
18
damaged the
inches
mic.
away. He put it 4 inches
Yeah.
away, and he got in trouble for it. But it created this whole new thing.
What's funny on Sergeant Pepper, you notice the bass drum louder.
Yeah.
You actually
Yep.
hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yep.
Well, the Beatles remixes of the Red and Blue albums are out. So I was reading
I
about
haven't heard anything from it yet, but
what they've done is said the bass guitar and the
Yeah.
bass drum, you can hear them now, whereas before you couldn't. I said, Paul said he's playing some beautiful stuff, but I always thought
Yeah.
it was that Hofner bass.
I was
but-
Lou. I
but-
was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. You finish. I'll say something.
Well, apparently, Abbey Road and EMI, they had a thing called bass policy. It just couldn't go above a certain level. It had to be a record. Like you said, these guys wore white lab coats.
yeah.
But the fact that he was cited for microphone abuse
Yeah.
by
Yep.
It's
having
all
it too
numbers.
close.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
funny because if you listen like Rain, the drums on Rain, this is a pretty fat drum sound, but they slowed
Yeah.
the tape down to get that. But even
Okay.
on like I say, A Day in the Life, the tom toms on that, the drum sound on A Day in the Life is great. You can hear the kick drum. A lot of those early '60s records, you really can't hear the kick drum unless it's by itself, like on I Feel Good, James Brown. Boom,
Yeah,
you hear
yeah.
that those drops, but interesting.
Well, I got to tell you, this weekend I went to my local Target just to get the red and the blue albums. I heard they had them, and they wanted $30 for each. I said no way.
Hello.
But I listened to it on Spotify, and I know it's not the best way to listen. But Lou, what you just said is right. I was listening to the first one and the red, and like I'm sitting here working, and I'm like, I hear the bass, like I really hear it.
Wow,
And
okay.
it's you're gonna love it when you hear it. It's
I can't wait.
definitely. It's worth the remake. The remake.
Plus, he was
great.
playing those Hofner bass. Oh, but Lou, I have something interesting for you.
But one thing
For
I did once you hear like McCartney's playing on Sergeant Pepper and like Revolver, the bass just came out so much. But like on the earlier records, like on I Want to Hold Your Hand,
Right, with that Hofner bass.
Yeah, I always thought it was just a shitty sounding bass.
Yeah.
But Paul's playing that on now and then too.
But so we've been talking about this technology, the AI technology for the new Beatles song, and those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Guess who calls Bob Clearmountain? Peter Jackson
Wow.
phoned up Bob Clearmountain and says, if you need anything, if you need any technology like this, we have it, and you're willing to use it. Guess what he's using it for? The same technology that cut all the bleed through, right? Which actually isolated this, is being used now. Bob Clearmountain right now is remixing music from Big Pink with the Peter Jackson technology
Wow.
to isolate, because there was so much bleed through because the band recorded together
Yeah.
in a room.
Well, music Big Pink, they recorded that in studios though. That wasn't a home recording.
But
like the
there was
second
bleed
record.
through because
There
so in
was.
other words, it is now Peter Jackson. I mean, Bob Clearmountain is now mixing the band
Wow.
with the Peter Jackson technology, and it's going to be wow. That's going to be something to hear.
Did Garth
Complete
give his
isolation on those. Yeah,
I know it's weird because I'm such a fan. I'm almost like a little nervous about it
yeah, yep.
because I love the sound of the record, but it's funny because looking back, a lot of it sounds different. I bet you the biggest thing though, like Chest Fever. I bet you that's a song that's going to do better for remixing because it's a big production, but it's a weird sound. Like the drums sound different on that on that song.
But I've seen these shows where like Robbie and Levon would be there. When they go back to the masters, you hear all the bleed through. You can hear the drums, the guitar bleeding through on the drum track and all of that. Now with the Peter Jackson tape, now it's complete isolation for a remix, which is going to make it sound phenomenal. I cannot wait to hear that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I wonder who gave the go ahead or how that was. Who owns it now? I mean, was this done before Robbie died? I would think he was the guy.
Yeah, but he's doing it now.
Right.
Bob Clearmountain. Yep. But with the Peter Jackson technology, the same that's being used on these Beatle remixes and all that. Yep.
Hey guys, I got to launch a surprise on you.
What's that?
Well, we're about to have our first guest on the Music Relish show. I hate to do something without, but somebody called me while we were talking. His name might be, say hello.
Yo, what's up, gentlemen?
Hey, Scott.
It's Scott.
Scott McLean?
It's Ebola.
I can't
Is
hear
that
that.
Ebola the clown?
Oh yeah, they can't. Yeah, duh. He can't hear you. I'm a fucking moron. I got the fucking headphones on. So we played a little. All right, so they can't hear you. We played a little Ebola the clown on tonight's show. I hope there's no copyright issues.
Oh, he called me. He was happier than a pig in shit.
Yeah, I'm really scared.
Ebola says you're not on the murder list anymore.
All right.
Yeah, you're not on the murder list. You're on his good list.
Well, Lou's a very frail man. Things scare him, so that really disturbed him. Of all the stuff we've been through with you on the show, I said it was boot camp in some of those shows. That scared him the most. That just freaked him out.
Well, Ebola's a scary guy.
That's a scary clown, man. Yeah,
He
it
only goes out once a year.
should be like a horror TV
We
show.
know. So what are you guys talking about today?
We're kind of getting towards the end of the show, but we talked Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, your favorite subject. And it was actually a good show this year, though. Maybe we'll mention it, on the next show. But, it was good. And we, at the top of the show, we wished you this was your weekend, man. Thank you for all you did.
Yeah.
Yes, well, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I heard the call and I went.
There you go.
Yep.
There you
go. So, all right. Well, listen, I just wanted to check in. I knew you guys were doing it. That's why I called you and Lou.
You're trying to fuck everything up, aren't you? Yeah.
He was next. I was going to call Perry next, but you sent me a text. So,
Happy Veterans Day,
gave
Scott.
him a bothersome ring
Well,
during the show.
Perry and Lou both say Happy Veterans Day.
Absolutely.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm glad you had a good show, and I just wanted to call and say hello. And all right, well, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you guys this week.
Will be.
All right, Scott.
We will be. That's Scott McLean, everybody.
Milk crates
No
and
crates and
turntables.
turntables. Yes.
Milk
Listen.
crates and turntables.
All right, dude. Talk to you later.
Oh, cool. Our first call.
Yeah, here I am assuming he can hear you. I'm a fucking moron.
Well, we can hear him.
Remember that company Hypnosis? They did. They were an art house. And they did. They used to do album covers for Led Zeppelin and whatever else, right? And I saw a documentary on them, and I'll tell you what the documentary is called. Documentary on Hypnosis.
I never heard of them.
Yeah, they were an art house. They did album covers.
Lou, they did most of the Pink Floyd, like I Wish You Were Here. They did. Just like look up Hypnosis album covers. Presents from Led Zeppelin. They did that.
There's a documentary about them on Netflix. It's called Squaring the Circle.
Okay.
The story of Hypnosis. And they were it's on Netflix. This is where I saw this. And they were talking about how like it's Hypnosis. They just I guess they just added a G in there, just to mess with people because they were all hanging out with Pink Floyd, getting high all the time and whatever else. But so it was Dave Gilmour who the two guys came to Dave Gilmour and says, "Can you talk the record company to letting us do the album cover for you?" Or something like that. And Dave Gilmour did the thing. So I've never seen this album, but apparently they had this concept like, let's get something completely that means nothing and no name on the record or whatever. So I think this may be the cover of a Pink Floyd record. Adam
Hart Mother.
It says nothing. They wanted to say nothing on the cover, but they were saying that, a while after this, they were in L.A. and there was a giant billboard with this cow on it.
It's a very flatulent album cover.
So they were photographers.
It's supposed to say "Got Milk" on it, doesn't
it? they were photographers and art directors and colorists. So he was saying, like, this thing here. This is an album by The Nice, right?
Yes.
Now
good album.
This says something about an art department or an art firm. They flew to Tunisia in the desert, and these balls they couldn't go on the plane with the balls inflated, so they inflated them with a pump in Tunisia. And this is the album cover from what lengths they go through to do an album cover. It's a concept. We come up with the concept.
Let me tell you, that album cover was done in 1968. It's not like the 70s. That's in the
1968.
60s.
The Nice, before he was in the Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
It looks more like a 1970s album cover.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird how
it's funny? It seems indulgent in a way. So we're going to fly to Tunisia, rent some camels, and go bring some uninflatable balloons up. But it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yep. But it got to a point where, like, it would cost, if you want Hypnosis to do an album cover for you, $50,000.
Yeah.
It got to that point.
Right.
So there were a couple of things like this one. They went to Hollywood.
My favorite.
Oh yeah.
They went to Hollywood, and apparently, this is what Wish You Were Here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And right after they took that picture, supposedly the wind changed, right? Did you hear that, Lou? And they had to extinguish them like really quick. That was taken just in time.
It's interesting you say that. This is in the documentary. This is in the documentary. So they wanted to do it again. We need to do it. And this is a professional stuntman from Hollywood who's been on fire. And
this is before airbrushing when it's real flames.
They
did
it like 15 times.
Jesus.
And then, like Mark said, the wind shifted, and the flame came around the guy's face, and of course they jumped on him with the fire extinguisher. He goes, "Fuck it, that's it, no more." No more takes. But
Is that the shot they got there? His head's on fire.
This is the cover, and it was packaged in a black envelope, and you had to cut the envelope because they couldn't show a man on fire on the cover, without being. So it had to be cut. It had to be. Shown in it had to be sold in a black envelope, and it had a little sticker that said Pink Floyd on it, so you knew what you were buying. Yep.
Luckiest band in the world in some ways. First of all, that album wasn't coming together. They couldn't write shit. They were paying Abbey Road for studio time. They couldn't come up with anything. Something clicked. They came up with the music. Then they couldn't almost get the album cover. Like, that almost didn't happen. So it's amazing what everything came together on that album.
That came out during the Vietnam era. One of that was because the monks were doing self-immolation.
Maybe, yeah, yeah.
I was there. That's one of the coolest album covers of all time, though.
Yeah,
this is the coolest album cover of all time.
Well, then the Houses of the Holy, everyone's seen the Houses of the Holy cover, but the guy he was explaining. You got to watch this documentary. It's called "Squaring the Circle: The Story of Hypnosis" on Netflix. It's only like one or two kids, and he framed it here, and he shot after shot after shot. He put it together in black and white, and here's the art house thing. Then it went to a colorist who filled in the color and made it look like that orangey. And because he shot it in black and white, the photographer shot it in black and white.
Right.
Wow.
And then they had to, and of course, he shot the one girl here. It's the same shot over and over and over again with the girl in a different position.
We can't say shot anymore. Okay. It's a trigger word.
Well, yeah, photographers do shoot.
No, you can't say shoot.
And then, of course,
it's a trigger word.
They were saying about the presence with the object.
Mm-hmm.
The cover of Presence.
Right.
And they were saying that they shot first. They took a picture of the dock, and then they superimposed in the studio family at the dinner table with the object on top of them.
Do you remember Douglas Falls in Barnesville, where you, Mark,
I do.
hiked up to?
Yeah,
You guys-
I have a
you guys-
picture of it. I'm going to throw it in the show one day. Yep.
Do you know the one I'm talking about? The picture of Louis and Dayton?
No, but send it to me.
It's almost like that Led Zeppelin where I took a picture and it doubled the image. So there's Louis standing there like pulling his hair out. Dayton's off.
So
in the
it
corner.
was with a camera.
It was with a camera, but it
Not
reproduced
with a phone.
itself.
Yeah.
No, it was with a camera. Yeah. It was accidental. But when I showed you said that's an album cover, but it's almost Zeppelin-like because it's like that one girl. There's two girls.
Yeah.
They just reproduced them, but I got all these images. I just don't know how I did it.
Cool.
The end of the show.
And
For Clem.
Hypnosis also did the Venus and Mars cover for
That's the cover of
McCartney and
Venus and
Wings.
Mars.
Yeah, they did that one too.
I didn't know that was the cover of it.
And it was Paul's idea. Paul and Linda said, we have this idea of like a couple of billiard balls representing Venus and Mars. And the guy, the one guy from the company walked out and says, I don't like the idea. If it's not our idea, we're creators, then I won't do it. And he walked out. And then the other partner in Hypnosis did the cover of the Nat.
I'm not a fan. I don't think it's a very good cover.
I don't think it's very interesting either, but
No,
this
looks
is
like
what
two
you hire
tomatoes.
these people for, though. You hire them for that.
Yeah.
You know, and this was not their idea. This was Paul and Linda's idea. So if it's a bad cover, it's Paul and Linda.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did one more. They did one with Peter Gabriel. I don't know what this
that
record
album
is called.
cover.
Yeah.
It's
And
Peter
he was
Gabriel.
saying that
Him and his
they
album
took a
covers.
picture of Peter. They took a picture of Peter with his hands clenched like that, and then they just inserted like ripped paper. How they came up with the concept for the album, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
By the way, Perry, I don't know if you know, his first 3 or 4 albums were just called Peter Gabriel. He didn't give many titles.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Drove the record company crazy.
I like the melting face one better.
Yeah. So the only other thing I have is I was telling Mark, I don't know if you ever heard this, Lou, is Mike Judge, you know, the creator of Beavis and Butthead and
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
Yeah.
He has this channel. It's called Mike Judge Tales from the Tour Bus. He's a fan of country music, I suppose. And so he does this thing where he talks to the people, but instead of filming them, he animates them. So they tell the stories about, you know, the guy who works with, you know, Jerry Lee Lewis is telling stories about what these things are like. Here's one sample of it. Let's see what happens.
I remember a time we were filming from Fort Worth, Texas, going to Oklahoma City. We were 90 miles out, and we had a flat tire on that Lincoln Limousine. We didn't have a jack or a new tire, so he told Cecil, our manager, get behind the wheel and drive this son of a bitch just as fast as it'll go all the way to Oklahoma City. Cecil said, Killer, I can't do that. It'll burn up the rim. It might catch the car on fire.
It'll catch
If
fire.
I don't give a goddamn if it blows the whole car up. We got a show to make. That's when we were making $200-300 a night, you know. All right, any of you motherfuckers that want to go with me do this show, better get your ass in the car, because I'm finna take this Lincoln to Oklahoma City. Well, he cranked it up. He said, Tarp, get over and pour drinks. I said, okay. And he drove that car just as fast as it would go. And the sparks was flying. You could smell it smoking.
I believe
And
it.
when we got there, the club owner called the fire department to spray the car down because it was so red hot. And there was no rim there. There was no axle there. It was pretty crazy, actually. But he made it.
Jesus Christ.
So that's what Mike Judge Tales from the Tour Bus is like, telling
That's
you know
cool.
with these people who work with George Jones and
The Killer.
the Killer, and who was the other guy? Who I can't remember his name.
Conway
but
Twitty.
he was a real violent guy. But that's kind of what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
I got to watch that. That's great.
It looked like Jerry Lee Lewis.
Tales from the Tour Bus. Yeah, but it's all that animation, that Mike Judge animation.
Yeah. It's almost Beavis-like.
Yeah, almost is. Yeah.
Oh, so listen.
Who was the guy narrating the story with the mutton chops?
That was somebody who worked with Jerry Lee.
I thought it was Willie Nelson.
Story, yeah.
Okay.
For me, it sounded like the guy in King of the Hill. What was Boomhauser? So listen, guys. Yeah, we're getting over 2 hours, I guess, right now. But I just wanted a couple things I wanted to add in. First of all, 2 days ago was Greg Lake's birthday, and I just want to commemorate that. One of my favorites, ELP. Greg Lake was, in a strange way, in a way, ELP wouldn't have been around past the first album if not for Greg Lake, because even though Greg Lake didn't have the keyboard chops of Keith Emerson, he hated jazz. He hated the indulgence. He was kind of like the antagonist in ELP, but they had a hit right out of the gate because of him, right? Lucky Man. And he wrote, in fact, all their hits were pretty much him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, maybe Carnival Line was a, but you're talking from the beginning, Lucky Man. Those were his songs, C'est La Vie, those were his ballads. So I spent years not liking him because he was always an antagonist to Keith Emerson. He kept a couple reunions from happening. He ended the band being together. As Tom Sloan would know, I would say F Greg Lake all the time, but he just had a different vision, and he was great. But when he died, it was like, whoa, I
always liked his voice.
Great voice. And even when
it wasn't a powerhouse voice, but it was very pleasing to listen to.
Yes. And when they reformed in the 90s for Black Moon, his cigarette smoking, which I think got him in the end, but that his voice went lower. And at first I didn't like it, but if you listen to Black Moon sometime on Spotify, you'll hear a whole different Greg Lake, but it was still great. He just had a very raspy. Yeah. It was their comeback album in 1993 or 4. It's a great album. It's a really good album because very concise songs. It wasn't long, drawn out. It was had some great pop songs, some great ballads on it. Great album. The only problem is Carl Palmer was using electronic drums, which I hated.
Really? So does it have that cliched electronic drum sound?
It's not a drum machine sound per se, but it's like you hear it. You'll hear it. It's like, why? He was playing a real drum kit triggering electronic sounds. He did that for years. And I'll be like, why is he doing this? But Bill Bruford went through that too. He did that. He was playing real drums, but it had a sound.
He did. Well, there was also in, I guess, the early mid-'80s, there's a video of King Crimson where Bill Bruford, he's standing up. It looks like a wall of those Simmons octapads or the hexagon, which I had the Simmons kit. They were painful. But a lot of drummers did, they were using the contact mics, to trigger electric sounds, because they didn't want to play on the tabletop feel. They wanted the feel of the drum, which I understand. Yeah. I mean, it took me a long time to get used to an electronic kit, the mesh drum heads. Yeah. What I'm using at the Spiritual Center now, it's different than my electric kit has rubber pads, but this one has mesh kits. But we did a John Lennon song today. We played "Watching the Wheels" as a instrumental prelude.
Wow,
we're talking about the Beatles and
double fantasy.
Double fantasy, yeah.
Well, it's funny. When I saw Andrew Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe, which was the competing to Yes with Trevor Rabin, it was John. No, I'm sorry, I'm going to change. Yeah, no, it was that tour. He came out and he had that background of Simmons. It got big. It got really big. And then when Yes did the Union tour, where it was Bill Bruford and Alan White, me being, I was, Bill Bruford's the best. And I looked at Alan White and I went, he's got this shitty drum kit compared to Bill Bruford. Well, now I know, Alan White did not play electronic, he just did his thing where Bill Bruford was, but I remember the wall of sound, he was doing all the stuff, hitting around, but the whole concert, he was standing, Alan White was sitting there playing, so they're both great, All right, so I just want to in honor of Veterans Day for this weekend, just mention some artists that served, in their time. I'm going to mention Chris Christopherson. He was in the U.S. Army. He rose to captain. He left in 1965.
Really? Helicopter pilot?
Yeah.
That.
Really? Yeah. That I didn't know.
Yeah. You heard that story. He landed a helicopter on Johnny Cash's lawn
Oh,
and
duh!
handed
That's
him
how he learned to fly.
Sunday morning
Yeah.
coming down. Yeah.
Raymond Zarek. He wanted to be a camera operator. I don't know what that is, but he was assigned as a prospective intelligence analyst. What he said was he wanted to get to his roots and go to Poland and use the military to do it because Poland at the time was communist. He figured if he was in the army, he wasn't trying to do anything bad. He was just saying, I wanted to see my home, where my ancestors came from. But he
Behind
served.
the Iron Curtain.
Yeah. Willie Nelson, he was in the Air Force. B.B. King enrolled in 1943 during World War II. But he was sent home because he drove a tractor, and that was an essential home front occupation. John Prine was drafted in 1966. He served in West Germany, mechanical engineer. John Fogerty, he enlisted in 1966, U.S. Army
National
Reserve.
Guard. National Guard.
It says U.S. Army Reserve. National. All right. He was a supply
National
clerk,
Guard. Yeah.
Johnny Cash, he joined the Air Force. Harry Belafonte enlisted in the Navy in 1944. Elvis Presley, we all know that, 1958. You know.
That's where he met Priscilla.
Yeah. He didn't have to get a haircut. He didn't have to get a crew cut, though.
He was gonna.
Elvis.
He actually originally, what I read was he wanted to do the USO stuff, but then they said no. You know, so many people don't like your rock and roll. They think that you're bad for the youth. You got to become a soldier, and I think that got him some respect. Or
it's a filthy music made by Cretin and his goons anyway.
Yeah, right. And the business side of it is very legit. I don't know if you guys know this guy, Maynard James Keenan from Tool, who I like a lot. He was in the Army, and he was offered to work at West Point, and he turned it down. Now, when I read that, I mean, he was going to be in the Army and be at West Point, but he wasn't a West Point cadet, but he left. Jimi Hendrix, we know that. He was in the 101st
Air
Airborne.
Force.
Yeah.
I thought he was in the Air Force.
Yeah, Airborne. That's the Air Force. 100.
No, that's the Army. He was in the Army.
Army. Yeah. Jerry Garcia. He was in the Army.
Really?
Yep. And he said that it wasn't for me. He was there for about a year, and he said it wasn't for me. Are you surprised? Can you see Jerry Garcia getting out at 5 a.m.? No. But he joined. That's the key. Bill Withers, 1956. He joined the U.S. Navy at age 17.
Yep.
Just some good stuff to recognize, in this weekend.
Cool.
The ones that were a lot of people were drafted too. A lot of the bands, who was the one guy from the Wonders? He got drafted.
He enlisted.
He enlisted. He was a Marine,
He enlisted in the Marines.
That was the bass player.
After at the end of I have to report to Paris Island at the end of August.
Right.
After he went to Las Vegas to get married. Oh, that was the other guy.
A lot of bands lost members because they got drafted.
Yeah.
One of Bruce Springsteen's, one of the guys in Bruce's early bands, got drafted and got killed.
Wow. Yeah, we think about Vietnam went until 1974, right? So there's a lot there.
Well, 70. We were out in 73. We pulled out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they started Vietnamization in 73. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So there we go. Hey guys, this was
I've got
great
the
show.
thing, Mark, for you to. I've got this. If you want to take care of this.
So everybody that listened, we appreciate it. Wherever you're listening to, please click like and subscribe. And if you also want to know where we're available, we are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, Amazon Alexa, Spotify, Overcast, Podchaser, Podcast Addict, Odyssey, YouTube, which you will see us along with Spotify, and Facebook. That lazy guy has been pretty good about getting the shows up. So you can listen to us anytime. And we appreciate it if you have listened to us. You don't know how much we appreciate it. Send us an email. What's our email if you have any comments?
Yeah, it's musicrelishtshow@gmail.com.
You can even yell at us and say we suck. We don't care. You can say whatever you want.
You can comment on our YouTube videos and say that you liked our earlier stuff better.
When they were in their mercy phase, no, their skiffle phase.
We had this Campbell soup cans.
I like the Music Relish early days when they were doing skiffle. Well, let's see. There might be a theme here.
Well, it's been real and it's been wonderful. We bid you good night. See you next week on The Music Relish Show.
Good night.
Do. It's the Music Relish Show. It's called the Music Relish Show. It's the Music Relish Show. It's the Music Relish Show with Lou and Mark and Perry. It's the Music Relish Show played by Lou and Mark and Perry. Asheville's skyline.
It's a drone.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm in the proper key. It's the Music Relish Show with Harry, Lou, and Mark. It's called the Music Relish Show. Well,
Goodbye.
Wow, that was very Greg Lake like. Mark, we'll do
I
that
was
again.
doing your drone.
An inane drone. A dull bee.
There was a show. We have no clearance for that. Mark. We have no
I'm
clearance.
just playing
Don't
a
do it.
song. I'm just playing a song.
They'll shut down the last 30 seconds of the show.
Stop recording. We're about to
It's
go
a
into our
Music Relish
Patreon show.
There might have been things I dissed.
Hey, Frank
Like a
Sinatra
lion
did
in
that.
bed. I shouldn't have said. You see, it's all clear. You're meant to be here
Yeah.
from the beginnings.
Do, do, do.
From the beginnings.
Do, do. Didn't the Wrecking Crew played on that, didn't they?
You bet your ass they did. The Wrecking Crew. We're still recording.
We're still recording. Well,
I've
anyway.
learned.
Sponsored by
Okay.
Yellowtail, by the way.
Yellowtail and, yeah. Well,
I
I
anyway.
would love to get like a truck full of cases coming to my house.
Somebody's got to sign off, Mark. It's your turn.
That's right.
Oh, we're signing off? Okay.
You're the host. The Hearst.
Very professional show.
The Hearst. Brooklyn.
Wait,
They're the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who was hosting the show?
I'm the Hearst next week. I'm Hearsting the show, right?
this is
I gotta
3
boil
a.m.
some water to cook some hot dogs. I'm broiling.
This is
I gotta
this
change
is
the oil
3
in my
a.m.
car.
in the Jerry Lee Lewis telethon.
That's right.
Give me another line of Coke.
Mark's wearing a leisure suit.
Marlboro.
That's right.
Marlboro Reds. Yep.
Well, we're signing off now. It's
And I'm
been
going to
great.
go to the post
All right.
office after this. I dropped some letters off at the post office.
Goodbye.
As the
Good night.
Grateful Dead say, we wish you good night.
Fare thee well.
Fare thee well, my friend.
Bye-bye.